morning, campers. It's Friday. That means it's the end of the week. Welcome to Midnight's Edge in the Morning. I am Tom Connors. With me is the boss man, Andre. How you doing?
Greetings, everyone. I am fine. Thanks, everyone, for joining us.
Absolutely. We also have with us the script doctor himself. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Good morning, everybody.
Glad to have you here. We also have with us... how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, and I'm glad to be here today, Tom.
Yes, welcome back from vacation or whatever it was you were up to, but glad to have you back.
Star Wars celebration, so we
that's right, yeah.
Afterwards.
Yes.
I forgot that was going on because there was a whole lot of nothing out of that. But yes, welcome back from Star Wars Celebration. Hopefully you had fun there.
I had a wonderful time, Tom. I had a fantastic time. In particular, they had this exhibit called the Mandalorian Experience, and I absolutely loved it. It was incredible. Jon Favreau stopped by. I had a wonderful time at that exhibit.
Nice. And also joining us, we have a cast of thousands in the chat. That's right. Welcome, Will Bloom, Lord Thoth, Pete Dencat, Dr. Long Donglers here. Action Com is here. We got Keely Chow here. We got Sonder Hammerslag, Michael Miller, Fat Elvis, as opposed to Skinny Elvis. We have Jordy in here with a wrench. We got Sander Hammerslag. Let's see here. Cosperius is here. Paulus Plain is here. Mr. Tickle Trunk is here as well. He says, remember, you can help the channel for free by sharing the link to the stream. And you can also help us by hitting that like button. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate it. And joining us, I guess just a little late. I thought we were going to be a little bit later than this, but that's all right. There's no complaints here. The one, the only, Paul Chato. How you doing? Good morning.
Good. Having lunch.
I'm good. Nice to see everyone.
Check your mic settings. You might be coming through the wrong one.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I am.
No worries. But good morning and welcome, Paul. And then we've got Hypergiver who says, so Zaslav has gone full Elizabeth Bathory. Has Zaslav gone full Elizabeth Bathory yet?
Well, he has started.
He's definitely starting.
There we go.
That's for sure. We're going to get into that topic. Let's hear you, Paul.
Hello. Good. Nice to hear you.
Much
guys
better.
too.
Much better. Good morning.
I've been listening to so much script doctor stuff that I feel like he's been in my house too long already.
Oh, I'm honored. Thank you.
Just went through the Double Indemnity video.
Oh, with me and Tom Conkle. Yeah.
Yep. That was fun.
Oh, that was a fun conversation. I love that movie.
I left you a note saying, do the 1955 Diabolique next.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, one of my favorite movies. There's two versions, one with Simone Signoret being the femme fatale, and then later on with, I think, James Mason, where she's the wife, that is.
Yeah, it was like the early 90s, yeah. I think
way before the early 90s. Anyway, she did.
They did it again in the 90s, though. I'm thinking of the other one, though, with...
Oh, no, no, forget of that one. No.
Yeah, I was thinking of the remake.
No, the mid 50s one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, there's two. There's two with Simone Signoret.
Okay. Gotcha.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. The ring will stop soon.
That's all right. Zontar says, and what's even cooler is it's like an old school phone. Zontar says Paul's comments didn't age well now, given how bad the Monaco Grand Prix was this year and how good the Indianapolis 500 was right after NASCAR was he wants to fight with you about racing.
Okay. The Monaco Grand Prix always sucks. There's no passing in that. So the timing was bad, Zontar. But I give it to you now.
He's conceded for you, Zontar. There you go.
Yeah, the Monaco and Indy 500, yes. No
there
complaint.
You go. And then we got a thumbs up from Dr. Long Dongler. I'm just curious where he's putting it.
His thumb?
Yeah. Well, with a name like that, you got to ask. Then we got Michael.
Yeah. Never mind. I'm not going to say it.
No, go for it.
No. It's okay.
All right. Michael Miller says it's time for Chapek to start a Zaslav purge at Disney. I think it's a little late for that.
And I don't think he has the support of the board.
I don't know if he has that much power either.
Actually, there are some indications that some kind of purging is in progress.
I wouldn't
It's
be
not as
surprised.
big and as high profile as we would have liked, but apparently there have been some very strategic firings in the recent past.
Well, I know there's one asshat that's still there, at least for now.
Oh, I know there are many.
I sent you
assets are
a
still there.
article last night to go along with our recent story we're working on. Pablo Hidalgo is still a force to be reckoned with in there, I guess.
That's too bad.
You have to go through him, it sounds like, for things.
Yeah,
So
to
there may
the
be a
extent of which,
phantom menace involved in this.
but to the extent of which there are purging happenings in Disney, if that is true, JPEG has bigger fish to fry than Lucasfilm. That's going to be relatively far down the list, and apparently there are more important people that already have gone. That's what I'm hearing, but we'll see. And that was one of the reason why Disney were quiet during like the whole Roe Wade thing, because many of the people in the "Where's JPEG" movement are no longer with Disney. Apparently,
With the what JPEG movement?
where is JPEG movement? It's like the resistance movement that was there to force JPEG into going hyper political. These were the same people that organized the hostage video and everything like that. Apparently, half of them are no longer with Disney.
Wow.
I think I'm making Paul laugh from what I'm saying in the background. But anyway.
That is so funny. I'm always amazed when I was in LA how people who were being, how do I say it? The ability of individuals to suppress any level of not self-awareness, not ego, pride, and just hold on to the very end, where no personal pride is left. Nobody wants them. It's been made very clear that their incompetence is no longer appreciated, yet their ability to just hold on to the bitter end and not just go, that's it, I'm done, I'm leaving, I need to take some shred of pride with me. No, people are willing to shred all their pride.
Pride's almost non-existent, I think, in Hollywood, at least in my experience. It's like they don't care as long as they get the deal.
Well,
but the pride comes from the victory of the deal if it works, as opposed to anything prior to it.
Yeah, and that's not universal, but the person who's on the way out, and Script Doctor, as you know, and I'm going to be talking about this. Some of the young fries out there were wondering how come they can't get the deals in Hollywood, and I said because your company is too small for the executives who are making the decision, the go ahead to actually work for your company once they get fired from where they're working.
Yeah.
So that's why they greenlight projects with other large companies, because then the large company owes them for greenlighting their project.
No, that's absolutely it. There's always a trade-off in some regards. You can't just be. It's not like in the days of, say, 30 years ago, 35 years ago, maybe more accurate, of the days where you could just be an ambitious talent, either an actor or a writer.
Back then, you could get shit done with a hand job
and moves and be completely lauded for your ability, your talent, and skill on its own, and then that, of course, the fellatio. But yeah, today it's all about deals. Like, what can you do for me? Do I see you becoming big enough so that I can then parasite off of you if I screw up? And that's a really difficult thing for people to kind of see right now. And this is actually a really big problem right now in the amateur circuit. It's all about just getting a representative. It's not even about making good scripts. And I'm like, that's bad, because work hard on your scripts. You could probably get a lot of agents or managers buying for you because they see you as a moneymaker for them. But instead, it's really just wheeling and dealing and trading on immutable social aspects of your life in order to secure representation for a person that's most likely not even going to consider submitting you for various jobs that you might be good for. It's all just about getting that thing.
I know there are actors that are hired because they have a really large Instagram audience that the studio hopes will come along for the ride.
Yeah.
And that also happens in commercials here in Toronto, where an actor will be picked because they've got a huge social media following.
Oh, absolutely. Like commercials are constantly shot in the GTA. It's like
Yeah.
one of the biggest parts of the industry. There's maybe a handful of shows, average of 21 a year, I think is what it usually is. And then everything outside of that is all just advertising, commercial jobs, and things of that nature. Some of my old teachers from college still do commercials to this day. And that's been like 20 years ago. Since 20 years ago, they've been doing them constantly. They say it's good money and it's a short work week, and lets them do whatever the heck they want in between those jobs.
Yep.
Commercial work gets looked down on too, and it shouldn't as much, just because that's really innovate most of this. Well, used to anyway, before computers, I should say. Innovate a lot of shooting styles and special effects, and things that led into to other fields. And I mean, look at how throughout the 80s and 90s, a lot of those directors came out of commercials and
for sure, Ridley
music videos for that very reason.
I think Ridley Scott.
Yeah, Ridley Scott, George Romero, a bunch of them did. Yeah.
So Mexican
Peter Jackson did commercials and short films for a while. The other part too, and I
think even James Cameron might have worked on some too back in the day.
Oh, I have no idea, but I wouldn't be surprised. I do know that when it comes on the acting side of things, just because of what my teachers have said and what I've seen on by like working as a PA for casting departments, in some cases you get like a really well-known commercial actor that you've seen in a bunch of stuff, and then they come in to audition for your show or film, and you literally get, after they leave, yeah, they read well, but we want an actor, not a salesperson. And that's kind of the weird stigma that you get as a commercial actor primarily. Like if you do too many, there's that stigma that's thrown on you, which I think is unfair, because they're trying to work. It's like if they're in a lot of commercials, they have to have some sort of talent that warrants them constantly being hired by all these different companies to advertise their whatever they're doing. And if they're here to act, in your feature TV, it shows that they actually want to do something a bit more long term and not just kind of a one-off. And
that is why you get William Shatner.
But he was already famous. Listen, the people who are making the decisions are not often the most creative people. I know when we were doing our radio show for CBC, and we were getting about 500,000 people every single Saturday morning listening to Frantic Times, we would invite TV people to come see us, and we would be at the microphones when we were doing the show. We had our scripts, and people would be howling with laughter. And then we'd have a great show, and we would go talk with the TV people, and they'd go, "Well, I don't know. I don't think there's much call for having a TV show where people are standing in front of microphones reading a script." No, we would memorize the scripts and just do it like a regular show. I don't know. The microphones seem to get in the way, and that's script reading. That's really weird. You don't do that on TV. No, you assholes. We're not going to do what you saw. We're going to do sketches. Yeah, but those microphones, that's weird.
And you're giving me nightmarish flashbacks to my times at like the CBC offices.
But that was, but you notice that, you're a commercial actor. People have this complete, and it's like when we were building websites, we've got, let's say we do banks, but then a trust company comes to us and go, I don't know, that bank website, all the 30 that you've done, that's not quite the experience we want. We want trust company experience. Like, what fuck difference is between a trust company?
You're splitting hairs so finely, you can't even see them.
So many decision makers can't get out of their tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just that. It's some of them are just complete fucking morons. But
that's a different class of.
But yeah,
I shot a proof of concept pilot for CBC, and the biggest note they had is that it's not Canadian enough. And I'm like, every single person who worked on this is not only a Canadian citizen, it's shot in downtown Toronto, completely recognized as Toronto. There's lingo to Toronto. What's missing from it? It's diverse too. Like, this was before the big push for diversity. We just cast a whole bunch of really awesome talent. And they're like, yeah, it just seems too American to us. It's like, can you give me more specifics?
I can tell you. Canadian. So I can tell you two stories. So number one, before I left the CBC, when I was head of TV comedy there, we put a show on that failed, but we were trying to learn how to do sitcoms called Mosquito Lake. It increased our time slot by 700%, but at the time that was meaningless to CBC. But it was a very popular, badly reviewed show. The critics hated it, but the audience liked it, and we were learning how to do sitcoms. It wasn't a great show, but I mean, it was a great. I was very proud of it. And Denny Harvey, who is head of English language television in Canada, he was a French Canadian who was a head of English language television. So in Canada, that's allowed. You can't have an Anglophone ahead of French Canadian CBC because that's no good. But in English Canada, that's allowed. Anyway, he took me into the office, and we have two. And just so you know, in Canada, we have at the time two major networks. CBC was the public broadcaster, and CTV was the station that was borrowing American content, and that was like they were the popular channel. So Denny Harvey dragged me in, and he talked about Mosquito Lake. He said, Paul, we don't want here at the CBC any show that could also be on CTV. I said, you mean popular that people like? And it was quiet in the room. And then I left. So, and then what was the other thing? Oh, yeah, I pitched a show to CBC when I left, which had a comedic French Canadian character. And they said, oh, no, you can't have an English show making fun of a French Canadian. And I went, yeah, but French Canada has got tons of shows making fun of Anglophones. Oh, yeah, that's allowed.
Yeah.
But we can't greenlight an English show that makes fun of a French Canadian.
I remember hearing a story. I won't reveal the actor's name, but he's a prolific Canadian actor who's done a bunch of American television and improv. And there was a show called Black Fly, which
yes, I know it.
And they tried their best to try and make it good, and it did not take off because there was a lot of network interference from CBC telling them they can't do certain stuff. And I saw them do one sketch before they at one of the playhouses in downtown Toronto of just it was the cast and crew. This was right before pre-production started. They did a sketch of what they wanted to do, and it just brought the house down. Everybody was laughing and enjoying the heck of it. And when we were when they were going into production, a lot of the people and me and my fellow young guys that were like following the group of these actors were really excited for it. And then the premiere hit, and you're like, this is the tamest take on what they were trying to do on the stage that we saw like a year earlier. And yeah, it was very disappointing. I was really shocked. And then a few years later, I started dealing with the CBC, and I started learning exactly why you can't get the best quality you want out of your comedy over there. They just have all these weird stipulations and things that they want to do. And
but that's anyway. Every single network, every single place when we were doing our television version of the Frantics, our Showtime showrunner said you can't use the word portage in the Mr. Canoehead sketch. Why? Because Americans don't know. He was from Texas. Because Americans don't know what portaging is. Talk to someone from Michigan. They know
or someone from Norway. They're not going to know either. But we have a couple of super chats to.
Sorry, we're yakking away here.
Before we get into the
Mexican
main
Iron
topic
Man
of today. Yeah, and Mexican Iron Man, our good friend and producer, says for $25. Hi to my esteemed colleagues. It's great to see the great Mr. Chato. Question: does recent studio head changes mean we can maybe get back to real entertainment? Or are we still going to be name-called by studios like Disney forever? What say you?
I'm not privy. You guys go.
Because there have been a couple of... we wish there would have been at Disney, and I'm sure there's something is happening there behind the scenes, but nothing has been announced. So let's go by what we know. We also know that there are purges happening behind the scenes at Netflix. What we definitely do know, though, is at Warner, where David Zaslav is offing people left and right. Most recently, and this was a great birthday present for Tom, he got rid of Toby Emmerich. Now, granted, Toby Emmerich was never one that had gone and attacked the fans, but I really enjoyed the video that you put out a few days ago, Paul. So everyone that hasn't seen that at Chato's channel, link is in the description. Check out his video where he gives his feedback on Lucasfilm and their public statement about Moses Ingram and all the Rossism she's facing. I enjoyed that video. How long do you think that a studio like Disney can have executives that go on and attack fans, imply that the fans and the watchers of their programming are disgusting racist? How long can they do that?
Well, I mean, it's problematic. I didn't mention it in the video, but I did put it into a pinned clip on my most recent one because people were just not getting they were not understanding what my video was about. Was they changed the brand of the show. So it was no longer Obi-Wan. It was the fans are racist show. And they changed the zeitgeist of, of what the show was supposed to be about. And they just kept hammering it. And I don't understand like what benefit there was to rebranding the show. Now it's the racist show. You going to watch the racist show next week? Oh yeah. That's what I'm going to be watching, the racist show. It was the dumbest thing in the world. It was amateur time. I just did not understand what the value was doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Script, do you have any thoughts on that? How long can they keep doing stuff like this? Because they've been attacking fans now viciously this way since even before Ghostbusters. They've been doing it since Fan 4 Stick. As far as I know, that was ground zero.
They can do it as long as the money's still there. That's pretty much it. And unless someone wants to actually worry about their overall profits, so long as the ideology is the currency among those people within those studio systems, that's going to be the case for the time being. I mean, I think it's not going to last long, and it's definitely going to tarnish the reputation of the studio. But frankly, I mean, in comparison to the rest of the entire studio system, it really is a drop in the water of what they're doing compared to everybody else. There's so many other studios that the representatives that are making like terrible stuff where the people aren't even responding to that criticism in that way at all. They just don't care. They're very much traditional that way. I haven't heard any of the people within comparable positions to like Warner Brothers and Paramount that are not like, Secret Hideout and smaller subsidiaries of those things in the same regard talking about the fans in such a vitriol. It's not there. Disney seems to be the most egregious, specifically through the Lucasfilm side of things. And you know what? If it's that small of a pool and it's not taking the rest of the industry by storm, I think just be apathetic to it. Don't care. Let them dig their own holes, and eventually the rest of the industry, or at least the market, will point out that that tactic doesn't even get a response. You shouldn't even bother. Shut up. Let the project and the content speak for itself. You don't have to contribute to anything. I mean, that's kind of what it used to be. It's like, okay, so like theoretically speaking, okay, James Earl Jones, who's Darth Vader, and people are like, oh, I hate Darth Vader, but I love watching me. His response would be, thank you. I did my best to try and make him the scariest, just through the voice alone, just trying to make him the scariest, most intimidating character ever. That's kind of like the way you navigate those things. You don't say, well, I'm really a good person deep down. Don't be mean to me because I'm playing a bad guy. It's like, no. Roll into it a little bit. Have fun. Fans are smarter than you think they are. And they'll have fun with that, especially with the level of interaction we can get these days.
Yeah. Any take on that before we move on?
Yeah, it seems kind of sad that articles like that even have to be made. Certainly, this was a series that people have been waiting for so long. And, they almost didn't even need to market it because fans were so eager for it.
Oh, so
in regards to needing to advertise the Kenobi series, it's almost like a joke. This is one of the biggest ones they've been waiting for, and certainly was going to be a success in a sense. Whether some people agreed with some of the storylines or not, people were going to watch this one. So, this kind of fantasy that they're projecting, I think it's going to be harmful to Moses Ingram in particular, because if things happen, let's say down the line in her career, she's a young woman. she changes her mind about things or wants to go in a different direction, these stories are going to follow her in her feed. You know, it's always going to be associated with her. The studio doesn't care if they have 100 articles that talk about racism or bad fans or whatever. They keep making a profit, so they're fine. It's just for her. Now it's tagged along with her. And, you know, I'm not quite sure whether that's something that she signed up for. I'm sure when they sat her down and she says that they told her and warned her what was going to happen, it was not at all what this article was going to reflect. Like, to have an entire magazine, an article and spread focus on something other than the story that you're starring in, other than your performance, other than you being a great actor, other than aren't you a great, isn't this person great for the company, other than, you know, how fantastic the story is.
Yeah, because as it is right now, she's just known for being a victim. That's pretty much it.
I'd be
but we
insulted
have
as an artist. That's
but we have a few more suggestions. Then we're going to get into the main topic here, which I'm sure many are waiting for, namely the jurors that are starting to speaking out. But are they really? We shall see in a moment. Before then, Action Com says for $10. Paul, have you ever heard of two loser YouTubers called Gene Siskel and Robert Ebert? They have a terrible potato camera. What do you think of their takes on movies?
You mean, well, the last time I saw them was before the one guy died. Now they're both dead. I haven't seen, I don't know. I know it's a brand that's still around, right?
No, well, he's probably just joking because there have been a lot of the classic videos uploaded onto YouTube. But
right, okay.
Yeah, and those classics, they were recorded on a potato.
Yes.
But they were fun, and I enjoyed disagreeing with them. And Ebert, I agreed with Ebert more often than
same here,
Gene.
probably.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I'm actually kind of a bit of a historian on them. I look up to them.
More.
They're part of the reason I'm here.
Why were they? One of them your parent?
Yes.
Okay.
It was Roger.
I love that they could still work together and have different opinions. That's the thing I love the most about that show.
Do you think they were friends? They seem to be
not really.
They seem to hate each other.
Yeah, they didn't really get along outside of work.
That's perfectly fine, because some people, they can have like a certain kind of chemistry in their conflict, which can come across as something fairly good on screen. Another example of that is the original Star Trek crew. Those people freaking hated each other.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be able to tell that on screen.
Well, I think everybody just hated William Shatner, but
yeah, that could be true. That they were all unified in their hatred of him. But still, that's what I mean. There was a lot of nasty feelings on that set.
Well, I never heard of Kelly hating William Shatner.
Who? DeForest Kelly?
Never heard of DeForest Kelly hating William Shatner. I know
true.
Nimoy did for a little bit, but they reconciled.
Yeah, they went
during
back
the
and
motion
forth.
Picture. Yeah.
I was just joking, but yeah.
I've told many people, I've been on many movie sets, there is no correlation between a fun working environment and a successful movie.
Nope.
Or the opposite of a horrible shoot.
I was going to say, in most cases where they've had a horrible shoot, we get the best movies of all time.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that you just don't know.
Well, Star Wars, Jaws, Godfather are three ones that I could think of right off the hand that were. RoboCop was another one that was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and of course, one of Mike's favorites, Alf. Alf was also
that whole production
hell on earth for the people involved in filming it, but magic came across on screen. Unless, of course, you're Mike. In that case, it was black magic.
And that to me is what part of the magic of the movie business is. You just don't know. It's an amazing phenomenon, and in television specifically, the lens on the TV camera, I joke, is much harsher than a movie camera, in that if you've got some comedy going on and you can be in the middle of an audience that's laughing uproariously, and then you see it, in the sitcom on this side in your living room, and there's no laughs at all. And that glass on the front of that lens just bounces that comedy back into the audience and does not accept it at all. It's a weird phenomenon.
Yeah.
Another discussion.
And with that, we're going to move a little bit into the main topic here. Okay. So we're going to do the super chats slightly out of order, but just to segue us a little bit there. because I'm sure many are here for the thumbnail. Innovator -SH says for $4.99. Do you all think there will be public backlash against media and the Hollywood still on Amber's side? Elaine's interview was bad, throwing the jury under the bus. Yeah, did you all see this? What do you think about that? About Elaine Bredehoff doing because I think that they, weeks ago, before the trial started, they thought that they were going to win, so they had booked this victory lap on various morning shows and everything like that, because Amber was supposed to show as well on I don't know how many appearances Elaine Bredehoff did, like 2-3 different talk shows or something like that, on the most mainstream of media, where Amber, of course, had the most support. But in light of the recent loss, she herself did not show up, but Miss Bredehoff. She left her cats at home and she showed up for the interviews. And over the course of them, she was very quick to throw the jury under the bus. Like, the real trial, according to her, was the one in the UK, because there was no pesky jury. It was just a judge, and also they had so much more evidence. And then she went to claim that the jury was compromised because Depp was such a celebrity, and they must have been watching social media and stuff like that, because otherwise there's no way they could possibly rule against her client, was the implication. I'm curious, how many of you see some snippets or the whole thing of Bredehoff's performances?
Oh, I haven't seen any of her performances.
I haven't either.
I saw a clip. The thing that came through my mind is that she's walking very close to the edge of being defamatory herself to certain people. That's pretty much my take of it. She did make a claim that there was additional evidence, which I don't understand why we didn't get a chance to see that in the trial, because that you kind of need full disclosure on all those things, whether you're plaintiff or defendant.
I can answer that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can answer why we did not get to see all this mountains and mountains of evidence and medical records, because they had to show all of this in advance, and it was rejected for being irrelevant and not holding up. Like, literally, we're talking about her going to an ear, nose, throat specialist months and months and months after her relationship with Depp had ended. And the guy saying that, oh yeah, this is a complete mess. It's probably caused by cocaine, but don't know that it could have been from Johnny smashing her up earlier. That's kind of like the implication. So there's no real evidence. They keep on talking about this mountain of evidence.
They did use the X-ray of her impacted wisdom tooth when she was 14, like that.
Yeah,
that I thought was shocking to refute.
It's stuff like that. That's literally what we're talking about. Or like the journal of her psychiatrist or something. Some like stuff that did not pass the burden of proof required to be passed as evidence. Because Bredehoff, she made it sound like, oh, we have some real smoking guns here. We just couldn't admit them. But they were in the UK trial, and that's why we know they were useless. And had nothing to do with the result of the UK trial, which again wasn't Depp versus Amber. That was Depp versus the Sun. So a very, very different thing. Amber was just a witness in it. But Tom, I know that you have some thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of along the same lines as Script. My first thought was when I'm hearing her talk, it's like, didn't you just quasi-win a case against Johnny's lawyer for doing the same exact fucking thing you're doing, Elaine, right now? I think if I were you, I'd keep my mouth shut on that part. You can sit there and talk appeal all day long and claim that you don't feel like Amber got a fair shake, but if I were you, I'd be careful in what grounds and places you step, because I'm not a lawyer, but I know there's certain things you can and cannot do and posit out there in public. And like I just said, you just supposedly won $2 million off a case of Johnny's lawyer doing exactly what you're doing after you just lost a case. No matter how you present it to the fucking public, you still got to play that smart, right? Like you cannot be a complete moron and go out there and commit slander in public like that. That's pretty alarming to me that she's out there doing it the way. To me, she's just proving how much of a moron she really fucking is. Like, I was willing to give her the benefit of the doubt before that, yeah, she's stuck with a shitty client, and I'm willing to give her the benefit of the doubt that she'll stick with her just because she knows if she doesn't do something in the appeal or anything like that, she's not going to see a fucking dime, probably.
Well, that's
but the shit
challenge,
she's,
isn't it?
Yeah, but the shit she's out there saying, I'm like, she's just setting herself up for another fucking lawsuit. We're going to get Johnny versus Amber round 2. Not like a whole nother version of it, like a whole new set. Like, yeah.
Yeah. It would be hilarious if we got Johnny versus Bredehoft. No, because
I think this is going to blow over fairly quickly. I think there's the perfunctory responses to all of Amber's allies in Hollywood, and then it's going to disappear, primarily because Amber is of no value. This is not Burton versus Taylor, 2 megastars. Do you know what I mean? This is not 2 megastars, both worth tons to the studios. That something stupid happens, they're still going to both work because they're of value. They have monetary value. Amber has none, 0, independent of the fact that she has no money to pay this off. Apparently, she's a meaningless actor.
She should quit doing so many mushrooms then, I guess.
She could go to doing commercials.
No, I love that. She's like, I can't possibly pay. It's because, like, yeah, you got to pay now. That's why. Because she can't go bankrupt on this, I guess, is part of the deal. So,
yeah. So no, they're trying to do everything that they can to get a retrial, get this set aside, and that's one thing that struck me. Now, I'm not a lawyer. We regrettably do not have a lawyer on the panel today, but this is something relatively breaking. It first broke yesterday, where you basically have someone who claims to be a juror. And this alleged juror went out on TikTok to share some insights from the jury deliberation room, answered some questions, did some recordings, voice only, wanted to remain anonymous, but claimed to be a juror nonetheless, to give some insights. And it wasn't like anything really revelatory. It was pretty much the same as anyone can guess. But here's the
way
issue.
I put it is pretty much if you watched any of the LawTube channels, you could have picked up any of this information from there. Nothing was revealed in there that we didn't already know publicly, basically.
Exactly. And there are some who have accused one particular YouTuber of basically doing this for clicks, being the one that's modified his own voice. I'm not going to say the name of the channel in case it isn't true. I don't want to put someone in the spotlight for the wrong reason. But basically, there are some who suspect that this might be a hoax.
Yeah.
That the juror hasn't come out. That it's all just a prank, basically, a prank for clicks. And I have no strong feelings on that one way or the other. But I have to say, it doesn't feel entirely plausible that the juror would go out on social media when they know that the trial technically is in process. And I do believe, again, I'm not a lawyer. I wish we had someone from LawTube here today. Now we unfortunately don't. But my understanding is that from 21 days after the verdict, the jury has to behave. Because if they go completely nuts in media or something like this, then that's a cause for a mistrial. And here, this is what I think is really suspicious. Here in the morning, you have Miss Bredehoft going and trashing the jury, saying that no, they were compromised, they were on social media and stuff like that. And then a few hours later, you have an alleged juror come out on social media. And social media, of course, is the blanket term they use. They don't know the difference between social media, YouTube, TikTok, anything like that. Which only, like, as we saw in the trial, when they're like, are you familiar with the social media user, that umbrella guy, as they asked Johnny's lawyer?
So are you intimating that this is a bit of 4D chess on the part of the Amber Heard gang?
I would say no, but there is one part where the guy gets into, like, he stumbles around, like, saying something about being online, and it's like, yeah, this sounds to me like something's off, right? Like something don't feel right, and
something is off. This does not feel right. And whether it's 4D chess or not, I'm not saying it is, honestly, because I don't think that Miss Redhoft is smart enough for that kind of 4D chess. But I do think that she is smart enough to seize upon the opportunity and say, "Oh, look at that judged misconduct, mistrial, start over." I think she's smart enough for that.
Then it's a function of, did this alleged juror go beyond? And Tom said no.
not really. Like, the thing that I think that was the most damning in it was they stumbled over talking about being on, I think it was Instagram or TikTok or something like that. So, and I think they mentioned something about hearing something from one of their kids or something like that. I don't know. He's the thing is all the things that he said were similar things that we heard from other law tubers. Like, it got uncomfortable when Amber would start looking at the juror, so they would turn away. Like, he said something like, she made me feel uncomfortable when she looked me in the eye, so I started looking away as much as possible. That was something that was said in one of the law tube videos. So, like, there wasn't really much else they said. It was kind of real short and sweet. I didn't, unless there was more to it than I saw, but to me, I thought it was
more to it. And yeah, you're right. It's like the same thing when this alleged juror spoke about where they were convinced who was right and who was wrong. That it was Amber. Amber, when she was talking about the pledge that she obviously lied about. If she lied about that, then maybe she lied about everything. But this Latin phrase that I don't remember right now in this moment. I don't remember that being brought up all that much in the trial. It was brought up towards the end there, which also makes me think that this is someone that has pieced something together based on the closing statements and the most vital moments. I don't think that if you are there, that is the thing that's going to change your mind weeks into the trial. I don't buy that. To me, that doesn't sound plausible. She was busted in many other lies before that point.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm still stretching to see how they even gave her $2 million in the end, outside of the one statement. Because to me,
I would have liked a better explanation other than
the best I can surmise is that one statement where he said, you know, they spilled some wine, roughed up the place, and called the cops again. There's a few bits of that story that were proven wrong in the actual court trial. But to me, I don't know the term they would use, but there's got to be something to where, yeah, he was saying that on behalf of his client, but at that time he had reason enough to believe that, right? Like, to me, I don't understand why they would see it was so malicious enough, and the fact that Hamada flat out said that her situation at Warner Brothers has nothing to do with those statements. To me, I mean, I get it, it's probably just a gimme, but like, everybody's pretty much convinced that's what they did. They had a holdout, and they weren't going to let him go home until somebody let them give Amber something.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. And that's what this alleged juror claimed as well, only in different words. But again, that's the obvious thing. I mean, if it really was an actual juror, some more detail would have been nice. But also, why would you take any chance on this? Just call an agent, get your Hollywood deal right away. I mean, if I was a juror, I wouldn't be on TikTok, I wouldn't be on Instagram, I'd be on the phone with Hollywood, getting an agent to secure my book deal and my Netflix series. And do it right now before any of the other jurors did. Hell, I probably have done it a month ago.
See, and that's the thing, and that's where I'm not so sure about it either, because that would go along with Elaine's statement that everybody is out for their 15 minutes of fame here. Like, that in itself is pretty defamatory, right? Like, so that's the thing, and that's the whole thing that Johnny's team kind of posited at the end there is like, for you to have to believe Amber's story, that means all these other people would have had to perjure themselves on the stand. That's the thing. And you think a lot of people would do that for 15 minutes of fame? I don't know.
This is also something that annoyed me with Elaine, how she was in the circle in talk show circuit, and she speaks matter-of-factly as of Amber as a survivor. No, actually, now we have a verdict that says she wasn't. She's not that. She's a liar.
Well, that's because they like to twist the British case. That's why.
Well, almost every single pro Amber commenter on Twitter is taking the jury is full of shit angle.
Of course.
I mean, so what else are you going to expect?
Yeah, they're only full of shit in one thing, and that's that they gave Amber anything, because giving Amber anything and giving Johnny Depp something is two mutually exclusive positions. That they were able to do so anyway only goes to show that it had to have been some kind of a compromise, because otherwise it makes literally no sense.
Well, I think the biggest challenge to Elaine is that the bubble has burst on this particular event, and because of, like I said, Amber's issue, this is now going to disappear faster than she wants. No one's going to care. The biggest hit right now is going to be the YouTube industry that was daily reporting on it. That I feel badly for the.
Honestly, what you should really be
hit by hit pieces from.
I was just going to say, you know what she should be worried about right now is not appealing, not any of this other shit, but getting the fuck out of the way of the fire that's about to happen. Because what happens when these things go down? People forget real quick. Yeah. Is you're going to have people come out of the fucking woodwork now telling you their horror stories about Amber Heard. We're going to hear hundreds of them in the next few months here. You wait. Because chances are she has pissed off a lot of people as she stepped her way up to where she's at right now.
Oh, yeah. We've heard stories. We've heard people in the industry say that, they all know that this one, there's lots of crazy people in Hollywood. But there's crazy people in Hollywood who are normal Hollywood crazy. And then there's potentially dangerous freaking psychos who might stab you in your sleep.
Well, and here's the thing
is one of the descriptions I heard about.
And this just proves to me how stupid Elaine is, because I'm sure she's thinking we get this appeal. Now everybody knows who she is. This stuff's all public and stuff. They're under the impression that they think that the public, as long as they know about all this shit now, when they go into this trial, it'll help them. No, it's going to hurt them, because by the time this trial happens, you will have all these stories out there now of people saying like, yeah, I met her once and she did this. I met her once, asked her for an autograph and she told me to go fuck myself. I worked for her for 3 days. I was an assistant and she was a nightmare. You're going to have all these fucking stories coming out of the woodwork here in the next few months. I guarantee it. And Bashy Washy, I've been checking into this since I heard about it. I've not been able to
we'll get
clarify.
Into this afterwards. Yeah.
Oh, well,
let's stick to this topic and then we'll get into Bashy Washies here, because that's a topic all on its own. So to close the book on this, we have a couple of super chats here. One is from, I love this name, Eve Barlow's Rotten Crotch. It says for £5 British.
Eve
so
Barlow.
A veteran of the UK trial here. It's not the Judith. It's the YouTube I did not want to highlight, with his voice slowed down. Popcorn Planet debunked it yesterday. Oh, really? Okay. Modest faked videos during the Gabby P case. Yeah, exactly. To me, this is looking more and more like a hoax. I just hope that this is a hoax that's not actually going to negatively impact the trial or actually give room.
Well, how long is it going to before there might be a retrial?
I think they have 21 days, meaning 3 weeks, meaning 2.5 weeks more.
You mean to file it, but it could be 2 years before they get the retrial.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. There's way too much time between now and then.
Or the appeal rather than retrial. It's going to be like a new trial then, if anything.
Yeah, the chances of them being able to pull it to where they can get kind of a retrial, that's going to be near impossible.
This is going to be so uninteresting when it comes back that even the quartering isn't going to cover it.
Well, and that's the thing is my guess is they'll file the appeal if they file the appeal, and it'll get it probably shot down. It probably won't make it very far.
Thank you for laughing at him.
That's kind of like what I'm thinking. I don't think that it's actually going to be that an appeal is going to be approved, because this judge here, I forget her name, but she used to be a Marine, and she brought that military efficiency to the trial, and she covered every single angle. And I do believe that specifically was so that this will be the end of it, so that there will be nothing that they can exploit to get around to.
Do you need grounds for retrial?
Oh yeah, evidently.
Not in Canada. You could just do a retrial.
Well, in the civilized world.
Well,
no, usually you have to have some kind of I think you have to bring in evidence before a judge, and then it's like then they have to decide.
That's easy. In case of Amber, she's just going to remember something new, just like she did before this trial.
I don't know. For a retrial, you have to usually have some kind of evidence.
Yeah.
And not just a memory.
Maybe she'll remember a new bottle story for an appeal that she had forgotten before.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's that simple.
She's gonna have to find the cash to do it, and maybe she could go to Unicash or something on Menlo.
Again, if somebody out there works in like a law firm or anything like that,
yeah.
I think you usually have to have some kind of extenuating circumstances, usually from a retrial like that. I don't remember the last time we've had something like that in a long time, outside of when you have those 20-year-old cases where the wrong person was put in prison and stuff like that. But that's rare kind of thing. But yeah, I don't see.
We don't have any lawyers here.
Yeah,
unfortunately, I'm not a doctor, but I do
so.
wear a lab coat in commercials. So
Script doctor is a doctor, but only on TV.
That's right.
So
and don't ever listen to my medical advice. It's silly.
Yeah, I tried once.
You lost all your hair. I know. I warned you.
Right, and the pustules never went away.
He's like, you might go back in time, but the chances are you're going to lose all your hair.
Aww.
He was wrong about the one thing and right about the other.
Hair, when you get older, hair.
In fact, it may have aged me a few years.
I'm growing out my ear hair and then doing a comb over with it.
Real quick, since I see Daryl Brewer's in the house, I just want to thank him. He sent me a late birthday donation for my birthday, and it was after we were off the air, so I just want to make sure he heard my thank you. And thank you all for those who sent in donations and super chats and everything too besides that. But Daryl was one I didn't catch until after the show, so thank you for that, Daryl.
Yes. And also, before we move on with the Amber, just to follow up on this, Blue-Eyed Korean the Based says for $2, if Amber doesn't appeal in 90 days, no bankruptcy.
I don't think she can go bankrupt on this kind of a case anyway, was the point we've been hearing. And I think that's why she's panicking.
Yeah, and according to all of the body language interpretation experts, she was panicking as she had the verdict read up to her.
I would be too if I was her, but at that point, what are you going to do? You put yourself in that
if someone
position.
told me that I'm liable for $15 million, I'd be panicking.
She's lucky that's all it was.
And of course, it was cut down to half. Like by the end, when you remove what Johnny owes her, then she's still out $8 million. But maybe the lawyers will want some of that or something. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I think Michael's right here. You need grounds for an appeal, either massive error in procedure or such an egregious failing of the law that it affects the administration of justice. Exactly. I can't even think of an example. That's how rare it probably is.
Is that because it's a jury trial?
That's just it, right? Like, and he's right. Unless there's some technical issue that they did something extremely wrong in the process of, and I think that's what Andre was getting at earlier about the judge being so efficient that she probably did cross all her T's and dot her I's. So, like, at that point, I don't think there's any grounds for it. They're just blowing smoke. But, like, that's my whole thing, is I'd be afraid of this coming back to haunt them again even more. Because at this point, if I were you and I was Amber Heard, I'd just run and cut my losses and hope to. I'd go to skip the country, to be honest.
Yeah, but there's
at that point, you're like, what the fuck am I gonna do?
Yeah, but here's the difference. You don't
go make some movies in Italy.
You don't have a histrionic personality disorder, nor
no,
do
I
you
know
have borderline personality disorder. Like, we're applying.
I wouldn't put myself in this position in the first place. Yeah,
that everyone else will have, but that's right. Like, you only get into this position in the first place if you're mad.
Yeah, so I don't see a retrial happening. I don't see an appeal going through. There's some people who are convinced otherwise, but I'm sure they're going to try and pull every string they can, and that might be part of what this whole jury thing is. If it's a hoax, which it probably likely is, the individual who did it, I'd be curious as to what side of the equation they're on, because they're not helping Johnny and they're not helping Amber in either case.
I'm sure imagine that they're on their own side of the equation.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah,
but that's literally what you.
I think she probably could whip off to Europe and make a movie with Roman Polanski.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, I'm sure she has choices. You're right. Like, we've joked about, her, well, let's just say lack of choices, but she's got plenty.
Is it Cartman's mom? Oh, very funny.
No, dude, it's Amber Heard.
OnlyFans Amber Heard?
Yeah. People pay
I
for
also
that kind
think
of
that she's like more likely to be in the Human Centipede Part 4 or something. I can see
that's just it. You're right, Andre. Yeah. In like 5 years, she can make like Sharknado 12.
Lindsay Lohan and Amber Heard together.
In Sharknado 12.
Sharknado
exactly.
12. That's it. Sharknado.
Featuring
the Shit
Tara
Sisters.
Reid.
Yeah, with guest star Tara Reid.
Yeah, exactly. And together.
And Bill Cosby as the voice of the shark.
But won't people be afraid to work with Amber Heard now? I mean, isn't that part of the issue from what they've heard in this trial?
People supporting her. Everyone else, everyone with a valid career, they will be doing that. But Lindsay Lohan, she has nothing to lose either way. I mean, the two of them could do Two Girls, One Cup Part 2. That'll be fine.
Or Diarrhea-saurus.
That's right. Freaky Friday with
I don't think Lindsay Lohan would do it.
Wouldn't it be Freaky Sunday though if it was Two Girls?
She's one of those that have
resurrecting her career, right?
What was that, Paul?
I think Lindsay is resurrecting her career, trying to. She's gone down the straight and narrow. She's no longer.
Has she?
Has she? I don't know.
Well, I haven't noticed.
I haven't seen her but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she's done a lot of smaller projects just to kind of stay afloat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, Lindsay's a little bit of a different story. She was just a pain in the ass to deal with, too many drugs, not showing up, that kind of a thing.
She was a successful actress.
Yes, she was.
See, and that's the beauty of this whole thing, and I love when they were trying to posit this shit, because we were joking about this last night. We figured out why What's-Her-Face kept saying that Aquaman was the biggest movie of all time. She watches too much Entourage, probably. Because if you'll remember in the show Entourage, Aquaman was the biggest movie of all time. Yeah, what's her name?
I forget, like Miss Arnold or something like that.
Yeah, Arnold. Something
Arnold.
Arnold. Was it Susan Arnold, maybe? Something like that.
No, Susan Arnold is that.
Yeah, no, that's a Disney.
I know, there's too many Arnolds and Sarnoffs and Aronoffs and Eries and blah, blah, blahs. And... yeah, but anyway, yeah.
All I know is I remember back in the days, Lindsay Lohan was being touted around as like the next it girl actor of her time, because she just did the It Takes Two type of thing where she played two different characters, one with a British accent, one without, and that just kind of took the industry by storm.
That was in the Parenthood, yeah. She did a
Parent Trap?
Parent Trap, yeah.
Or Parent Trap, yeah.
The Parent Trap remake, like the third or fourth one.
No, she was great. She was great in Love Bug. She was great in Parent Trap. She was really good in Freaky Friday.
She could
Just
act.
My Luck. I think she was pretty good with Chris Pine off of that. But,
no, she clearly had her a trajectory in front of her that if she wouldn't have derailed. Yeah.
Well, that's rumored to be the Disney influence on her. Like they pretty much helicopter parented her.
How long before Zendaya fucking goes crazy?
And it depends if they're still practicing those techniques these days.
I think Zendaya's got her head screwed on okay. She's pretty funny in interviews.
I'd like to think that a lot of those elements are out of there. Nickelodeon and Disney have caused a lot of these issues, yeah. But that's a conversation for another day altogether.
Yeah. And we're going to do a few more super chats here before we move on to the next conversation. But Magic Max says, ask Raketa. He gives a chance for an appeal like 0%.
That's what I'm saying.
This is what I'm thinking. I think that right now they're trying to save face, set up Amber for the next stage of her activist career, now as a victim. But legally, I don't know if they have that much to stand on, because again, that mountain of evidence that they spoke so highly of turned out to be a little more than a molehill. The mountain of evidence was actually against her.
But Andre, that's a very interesting thing you just said. There's a very huge victim industry.
Oh yeah,
yes.
That's in general, yes.
Professional victim, and just imagine all of her supporters, like all 10 of them and the 1,000 bots, and they all see her as the perfect victim, and she's a bigger victim now than she's ever been. Now she's not only a victim of the abuse from JD, now she's a victim of the patriarchy.
Of the system,
yeah.
So she could milk that, and I mean, from an appeal perspective, it would be the first thing out of my mouth. I appeal. No, I mean, just from a reflexive manner, that would be the first thing I would say.
She just needs to be really fucking careful from here on out. That's the thing, because
that's a different thing.
I mean, yeah, she can do all kinds of books and she can do all kinds of movies of the week and interviews and all that kind of shit, but she comes out and starts saying a lot of the shit she got in trouble for in the first place. It's going to start all over again, and that's where we're back around, like a snake eating its tail with Elaine. It's like, are you that fucking stupid to be going out there and doing exactly what you just sued the other lawyer for and yourself just lost a case for?
You know, the story that she wrote in, what was it, the New York Post or whatever it was?
The Washington Post, yeah.
Washington Post that initiated this whole thing.
Yeah.
She's
like the Mobius strip of failure. It just cycles back over and over.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like a snake eating its own tail at this point. Yeah.
Mobius strip, part 2.
Yes.
Exactly.
The Mobius landing strip.
But before we leave Amber completely, Tom, you had another chat up there pertaining
there's
to
this
Aquaman 2.
This thing that's been going around, and of course I've talked about this for a while now. So if this news is true, I'm not surprised, because I've heard this is going to be the case anyway. But there's this, where'd it go here? Bashy Washy's comment. But either way, I don't know. Maybe I unstarted accidentally. There's this executive, or claiming to be somebody who works at Warner Brothers, I should say, named Juliette Lauren Fisher. Now, on Instagram, she posted that Amber will be removed from Aquaman 2. And then all of a sudden now her Instagram is completely locked down. So I've been trying to do some looking. The only thing I could find is her Instagram account, which claims she works for Warner Brothers and worked with Baz Luhrmann. So I have no idea if this is legit or not. So I can't verify it. But it does go along with the rumors that I had already been told. And that was, if the trial went this way, she was OUT. They were already prepared for that. That's why they cut her down to 10 minutes. Chances are they're going to move in another actress, considering that's kind of what I was gathering, was that the 10 minutes was the minimal amount they could take until they couldn't remove any more before the story doesn't make any fucking sense, basically. So they have to.
I did a quick search on her because her name doesn't ring a bell, and the only thing I could find is that apparently she may have made a claim a few months ago that Paris Hilton was going to replace Amber Heard in Aquaman.
I don't know if that's the same one. See, there's two different Juliet. There's two different accounts script, and I ran across that one too, so I don't know if there is a connection or not. They're under the same name though, but it's two separate accounts. See, the one that actually,
and I don't have Instagram, so I don't even know how to get.
Yeah, the one is completely blocked now. The one that originally made this claim that people are actually, the one that actually had on her Instagram that she worked for Baz Luhrmann and Warner Brothers. That one's completely locked down.
And that could mean a couple of things.
That's what I'm saying. That could mean
ways to interpret that.
That can mean they're the same person that Script's talking about, and they're just fucking around. Or it could mean that they do actually work for Warner Brothers and they just got in big fucking trouble.
That's what I'm thinking.
Someone
Because
took her phone away.
We don't have the full overview of everyone working at Warner in every position. Yeah, we know the top executives, but we don't know everyone working under the top executives. That
And
we
most
have
of them
no
don't have
idea
any IMDb or any other type of account. You might have to find it through LinkedIn, but it's also a stretch because there's a lot of subsidiaries that you don't know are actually associated with studios.
Exactly. So to me, that this someone would post this and then get in trouble and run like hell. That sounds plausible. I would
Sorry,
expect,
what did you say?
no, I said that if this is legit, if it was a junior executive of some kind, someone you may have heard about for other things, but now she's in a position that hasn't been announced to the public, but she is in some kind of position to know, and she thought this was so exciting, a great way to get some more Instagram followers. She drops this story, and then she gets a call from Warner Legal. What the hell are you doing?
I'm curious too, because here's the thing. I
And
think
then the account will be locked down real freaking quick.
the only reason I give it any legitimacy is I believe Baz Luhrmann's office is over at Warner Brothers. And that's not something just some rando's going to know generally. Like, but again, if you want to make yourself look legit, that's the thing. I can't find anything. Script can't find anything. I believe, Mike, you have the IMDb thing, and if he's found something by now, he would have probably told us. So I'm going to take it with a big grain of salt on that part. But here's the thing. It supports everything I've heard. Like, she's only cut down to 10 minutes. That's a week at the most, probably, of shooting somebody to come in front of a green screen and lay in a bed.
Depends how complicated the thing is, because, in some cases, they spend a day on a quarter of a page, especially on the studio level.
Depends on what it is, but yeah.
Probably she's going to have a lot of scenes with Dolph Lundgren, who played her father in the...
Well, from what I remember hearing and what she said in court, she's in the hospital through most of the movie. So it's basically going to be just somebody laying in a fucking bed. That's what I'm saying. So probably
she's the soap opera coma patient.
Yeah. Beep. That's the thing, is they already wrote it to where she wasn't in the story that much to begin with, obviously.
So if I'm the executive in charge of production, I actually would have gotten, depending on what her performance is like, because, let's say I've seen the footage and I say it's more than passable. If she won, I probably would have removed her from the movie entirely. Now that she's lost, I keep her in because I think people are going to want to see this train wreck.
Her last big studio performance ever, right?
That's right. That's how I would market it. That would be that would be the top line item above Aquaman title. See, Amber Heard's last professional performance ever, Aquaman 2.
I got an even better idea.
They jokingly call that the Heath Ledger effect, because for a long time, the Dark Knight's team said that this is the last performance that Heath Ledger did, completely forgetting that he was in the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, or not forgetting.
Well, it's because I think at that point they weren't even sure if that one was coming out, because he was only in part of that.
Well, he was supposed to be in all of it, and as soon as he passed away, a number of other actors volunteered,
including Johnny Depp. Wasn't he one of them?
Yep.
Johnny Depp, Christopher Plummer, I think, a couple others.
That was one wacky movie.
Yeah, but at this point, here's the thing, Paul. I see where you're coming at with this, but this is the change.org signature, and the damn thing usually is going up almost by the second look at it.
Yeah.
That's in live time.
Publicity. So that's an awful lot of hate to pay for. I like it.
You know what I would do?
You know what's even better is Bruce Campbell's got over 3 million signatures to replace him as Mira. He responded yesterday on Twitter. He's like, send me a script.
I want Xena.
Lucy
Warrior
Lewis,
Princess?
Warrior Princess.
That's a thought.
You were going to say, Andre, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was about to say that. Well, if you really wanted to do something like that, what you would do is you would reshoot the scene, and then you would advertise, look here, you can watch Aquaman 2 without being distracted. And then later, for the whole media release, the third cut.
I was just going to say that, yeah. Like the butthole cut.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you double dip.
No, I think that's probably what's going to happen. And that's where it is. Cause like that makes sense to me now why the person I talked to said they can't really cut her character out. Like she's a big part of it. And she spoiled it on the stand. That's why I can't believe Warner isn't pissed at her right now. Cause she spoiled a big part of Aquaman 2 on the stand. So they may want to go and do something with that anyway. So who knows? I don't know if they can really fudge it any more than they have, but yeah, Mira's in the hospital with facial reconstruction. She was in a bad accident.
They replace her with a hologram of Myrna Loy. That's my recommendation.
Oh Lord. Well, we got quite a few super chats here, so I think we should
let's
get
do
into
the
some
super
of these.
chats.
Yeah, let's do that.
But that's
just to finish that, I do not think that Amber Heard is going to be in Aquaman 2 by the time it is released.
I'm about 80% sure she is out.
She's going to be in the Roger Corman version of Aquaman.
Yes.
Roger Corman back from the grave.
That's right.
I'd actually be more interested in that than the big screen Warner movie.
Did he die?
Roger Corman? Yeah, he passed away a few years ago, I'm pretty sure.
Did he really? Oh, wow. I thought he was still alive.
I'm looking up that. I remember.
Maybe. I know he sold his movies, but because his kids were pissed.
He's in his mid-90s.
His kids were pissed because he sold his movies. I know that. He might have passed away. You're probably right.
No.
I was going to say, I thought he was.
Now he's still alive. Oh my God.
I thought so.
1954.
I don't remember hearing anything about him.
No, he just retired and he sold all his movies to Scream Factory and his kids got pissed.
I'm the same age as him.
I think he's close to my dad's age, yeah.
It's not that. He's 68.
Yeah. Roger Corman?
Yeah.
No, he's 96.
No, it's 1954, it says here. Oh, no, born 1926. Sorry, I can't read.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Started, I think.
That makes more sense. Yeah.
That seems a lot more plausible. But
I was gonna say, last I knew he was still alive.
He's 96, and he's doing Death Race 8000. He's in the middle of making.
I wouldn't be surprised. Dearest sends us a super sticker. Thank you for that, Dearest. And then we got Blue Eyed Roof Korean the Based, who says, have to publicly state I was wrong. Tom Cruise intentionally restored Taiwan and Japanese flag on bomber jacket to spite China. Cruise gets the culture war. Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
Good for
Well, at that point, why not?
Cruise's positions have actually aged surprisingly well.
Cardinal Sin says, hail Midnight's Edge in the panel chat, and might as well hail Cardinal Sin. Hope you're doing well. Then we got Callum Lyle, who says, Anita Sarkeesian is also that person who had a part in The Last of Us 2 fiasco. Also, how is Cameron? And I'm not popular on Twitter for telling facts. Well, nobody usually is. When you tell facts on Twitter, they don't like that. As far as Cameron goes, as far as we know, he's doing well. He's working hard.
It's fine. I spoke with him earlier this week. He regrettably could not be in your birthday stream because he was in a business meeting at that same time while that happened. But he sent his regards. And he's well. He had a little bit of a health scare, but he's recovering from that. So all is well with Cameron.
Good. Hopefully we'll have him out again soon.
We look forward to having him back when his job commitments allow.
Then Dearest wrote in for $5. I just want a return of a particular smoking mouse character in Bloom City.
Bloom County.
Yeah,
Bloom County. Yeah.
Are you looking at, you have like a Nintendo screen on your computer or something?
Well, these green ones fuck with, like, they go like, it's hard to explain. Like, it goes, this particular color green does not like my monitor, and then with the black on it, if it was maybe white, I could read it, but like it puts like a white outline around everything, and it gets all like jittery, so it's like hard for me.
So what have you got? Like a monitor where one of the guns has gone, and you're now just RG and.
No, actually, it's a 4K monitor. Believe it or not, it's just certain things don't like to work right with it.
Yeah. So everyone, you hear that means that in order for Tom to read them, super chats should ideally be up to orange level and not.
That's
green.
Right. Yellow, orange, though. Yeah.
Or reduce the resolution.
I probably should just turn down the bright or whatever. Yeah. Callum Lyle says, and Twitter doesn't seem to like my bad sketches that much. Like your drawings are like sketches. And it confirms some are afraid of what a real, okay, so drawings of what a real woman looks like, especially the She-Ra fan. Oh, don't get them started.
I can well believe that. I mean, those people are crazy.
And I wouldn't call, you got to differentiate here. There are She-Ra fans, and then there's the DreamWorks She-Ra fans.
I think it's implied that he means the DreamWorks She-Ra.
That's
fans.
what I was assuming.
The original OG She-Ra fans are normal people.
And why are the DreamWorks She-Ra fans crazier?
Because the DreamWorks She-Ra series is one of the most SJW of purebred SJW series there has ever been.
They literally made like every character gay.
Everyone. Absolutely everyone.
And most of them are race swapped in some way.
I was
horrible.
taken aback when I saw the Pinocchio trailer and the witch or the whatever, the person with the wand was race swapped. Not that that's bad. Like, who gives
I didn't bother, the race swap didn't bother me. The bald ass head fucking bothered me. I'm like, what the, whoa.
Yeah, I guess should have had fabulous hair.
I don't care. Yeah, I could care less if it was, I don't care if it was RuPaul.
Oh, no, I didn't either, but
like, I could see RuPaul playing a fairy godmother.
Now that's
what I'm saying, right? Like,
okay, I'm all in RuPaul playing a fairy godmother. That is, I'm all in.
It's like, if you're going to do this shit, go the fuck out, right? Like, come on, give me some. I grew up with Divine, for fuck's sake. Nothing you're giving me here.
Got a lip sync for your life.
And Divine would have been great. Giant hair. I love Divine.
That's what I'm saying. They're acting like they're doing something provocative. It's like, motherfuckers, I grew up on John Waters. You got to be quick. Come on, give me something better. I have seen a man dressed as a woman eat dog shit. Give me something better. Come on.
Hey, listen, the Frantics used to be play on the same bill as the Great Imposters.
Nice.
It was a drag act. And we had, listen, let me tell you, if you want to have fun being off stage in the green room with a drag act, there is no greater fun in the world. The level of bitchiness is at a level that is beyond you could possibly imagine. That's so much fun.
Well, I just love how they love to virtue signal and all this stuff. It's like, you guys ain't doing anything that hasn't been done before by John Waters or anybody else. It's all been done, as they say in the old Bare Naked Ladies song.
I was just mentioning about the She-Ra fans because now, I mean, I've commented on Star Trek, LOTR, and then this is my first foray into Star Wars. And let me tell you, the comments from Star Wars, maybe not Star Wars fans, I don't know who, I can't categorize them, but they're the most vicious. I've never been attacked more than with my Star Wars commentary. Like, there is Star Trek, LOTR, it's all been fairly benign. Star Wars, holy crap, I'm in deleting something.
There is a thing with Star Wars. The other side of it, though, is it's just
the thing that you don't have much experience with many different fan bases is obvious, because there's far worse out there.
I was going to say there's some worse ones than that. Like, Trek used to be that bad when you had the Discovery fans. But see, that's the thing. That thing kind of died down. So once the Discovery fans kind of died out, that kind of changed. But you're right. Like, the Star Wars fandom, they're a bit... But there's worse ones out there. There are definitely. We don't want to name names, but yeah.
No. The Daniel Boone fan base.
The She-Ra fans, though, the DreamWorks She-Ra fans, they are some vicious bitches. That's for sure.
Okay.
They can be. But yeah, no, that show is a train wreck and a half. House Atreides says, if you're fine with Jake Kenobi, then you're fine with Jake Skywalker, Jake Solo, Jake Fett, and Rey Palpatine. There is no difference. Nothing has changed. Yes, I agree with this. Pablo Hidalgo and Filoni and those guys are still just as bad as anybody else. And the problem is Favreau trusts Filoni, and now we're learning that pretty much everything has to go through fucking Pablo Hidalgo, if that one story is to be believed that we covered last night on Midnight's Edge After Dark, and I sent you, Andre. Because basically, how did he put that last night script? Pablo's job isn't to tell you how the dog can play baseball. It's just his job to tell you, yes, technically a dog can play baseball.
Yeah, he's in the pseudo position of like a referee for Star Wars.
Yeah.
And that's why we have force teleportation in Rise of Palpatine.
And hyperdrive skipping and
yeah.
So everything has to flow through him. This is a problem to me. I don't like this.
Yeah, he's basically like a dam.
Exactly.
A dam to creativity.
This is true. Exactly. I love that. And you should use that, Andre, for the video. Give script a nickel. He won't take money from me, so... Comrade Commissary Yuri says, I don't see why you're blaming the jury because Amber literally told the jury, look me up. She did. And that's the other thing Tug brought up last night too, that umbrella guy, for those who don't know what I mean when I say Tug. He brought up too last night. She's the one who kept bringing the internet into this. So that's their fault as far as that goes, so yeah, I have a hard time with them using any of that as some kind of excuse. Even if they try to push the idea that the jury was influenced by outside means, they have to fucking prove it. That's the thing. And that's where I can't believe Elaine. She's not a very smart lawyer. She can't be.
Well, she claims to be. She claims to be like this super duper lawyer.
Yeah, you know what? Who people come out and claim they are fucking intelligent as fuck and are smarter than hell. They're all the idiots who come at me on Twitter too.
Well, that's me.
I think she's well learned and educated in the law. She just maybe be lacking a certain type of compass of how to properly represent people.
Well, she is like literally taking a bullet for Amber here at this point. I mean, that's the thing. I can't fucking understand.
Well, maybe Amber would get her a new cat or something. I don't know.
Amber has nothing. That's the thing I don't understand here is like, you can't even bet on her. We joke about, yeah, she'll have some possibilities to be in like some Sharknado movies, but she ain't got no fucking money.
Oh, she's going to go on the victim tour amongst the Eve Barlow group.
You're right. That's probably what it is. She's got a hitch. She's got a hitch to her now.
She'll have whatever like the Sarkeesians and all those do that those speaking events. Amber will probably be on the coattails of that.
That's correct.
I mean, think of all the companies that pay a shit ton of money for someone to come and
you're right, because ain't nobody gonna hire Elaine ever again, so ain't nobody ever gonna hire her again. So the two of them will just go on world tours talking together for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Except for Australia. Can't go there.
Can't go there.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I wonder if they'll go and speak at colleges and universities first.
Yeah, and yeah, the compromised SJW universities, the ones with like Cooney in New York, she'll be a hot topic there.
Berkeley would be pretty willing to open.
Berkeley, yeah, sure. Berkeley.
What's funny is, and I think this is what Sanders referring to here, is Eve Barlow is booted from the fucking courtroom. Because yeah, she's basically the head of Amber's social media and rumored to be her girlfriend.
Aha.
Yeah. So that's
I like Eve Barlow. Eve Barlow's a very smart person. I don't know how she went nuts on this, but I love her writing. I mean, overall, Eve Barlow has done some very good journalism.
Probably it's like Amber herself. Like that's the official story that Eve Barlow is managing her social media. I think it's probably, if anything, it's probably Amber that's managing Eve Barlow's social media.
Eve was the one that got caught with her phone out in court and booted.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's too bad. I'll still read her stuff.
But moving on.
Oh, she's totally bought into this stuff, Paul. That's the problem.
Oh, no, I know that. But her other stuff, she writes about other things.
Well, you'll have that sometimes. And that's the thing is going to be amazing is all these people who are going to reform from this leftist bullshit and this SJW woke crap. Because we're seeing some of them already, but I can't wait till some of these other ones start reforming. And we may actually get some good talent again come out of it.
It'll reform once it becomes... Zaslav has kind of opened up the dike, and water is coming in, and other executives are going to take notice and be less timid.
I miss the ambitious executive. The one that's like, screw you, I'm doing this. And
No,
the
no.
one,
In my comment, I miss the lazy executive.
oh yeah, the one that's like, okay, go do this and I'll take all the credit.
Correct.
Yeah,
And so
those are-
my example is the very first Disney Star Wars movie where, okay, I'm the lazy executive. How do I make a success of this? I'm putting Luke, Leia, and Han together, and I'm heading off to some
Cabo.
LA eatery. Thank you very much. Bye. I've
Just
I've
do
done it.
basically the same thing you did in the first 3 movies. Go.
That's it. Go. That's it.
No,
I'm
you're right.
done.
And you're right, Paul. I know where you're at, because you're like, we need to reset back to, and this is what I mean when I say, let's get back to cocaine and capitalism, right? When that's all they gave a shit about was like, make me a movie that's going to make me enough money to pay for my coke habit and my hookers. That's all I give a shit about, kid. Now go.
Yeah.
Put everyone in there. Put everyone in.
How hard is it to make an executive decision that says put Harrison Ford, Hamlin, and
Carrie Fisher and this
Carrie Fisher
shot.
together? And I'm
Everyone.
done. I'm done. Why would I go out of my way to make my life difficult to try to relaunch a bunch of nobodies? No, I'm a lazy fucking executive. I want to head off to the restaurant, do my cocaine, drive my Ferrari.
But you're stuck in the tougher situation of having to work with the director of JJ, who's like, oh no, we can't do that on the first thing. We have to massage our way to putting them all 3 together in a scene. And it's going to be through Force Ghost in the final movie. It's like, no, do it now.
No. If I'm the executive, if I was the executive, I would have waited till all 3 of them were dead before introducing new characters.
We need more people like what's his face in that Key and Peele Gremlin skit. I can't remember the name. Have you ever seen that?
Story
Paul?
editor from Key and Peele.
Yeah.
No, I don't know it.
Oh, it's hilarious. I can't show because we'll get a claim for it. But the gist of it is, have you ever seen Gremlins 2?
Sure.
Okay. They're like, so they're sitting there in the executives lounge in the office, and they're talking about Gremlins 2, and they're like, well, what do we got for ideas? And this guy comes in bursting in, and he's basically dressed like the most outrageous gay man from the 90s you've ever seen, right? Like, and he just comes in all flamboyantly, and he's like, I'm the sequel doctor here, and I'm here to help you with G2 kids. And it's like, what do we got? And he's like, come on, I want everybody at the table to come up with a gremlin. So they all come up with a gremlin, like, it's like every goofy gremlin, a spider gremlin, a bat gremlin, a goofy eye gremlin. It's a hilarious skit. You should check it out. And then by the end,
you have to see it. So let's move on.
So I don't want to give it all, but that's basically what we need. Those kind of guys. McGregor says Team Turd is clawing at anything like a wounded animal to regain any credibility. Her career is dead. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so she has to create a new one where she can keep on bothering us because.
Yeah, but she just wanted Johnny to leave her alone.
Yeah.
Bucky Cat says maybe Amber can do Medicare commercials with JJ Walker and Joe Namath. Not for another 30 years. I don't know, maybe. Wildman Beyond says hopefully this case will be a wake-up call to show when it comes to domestic violence, gender don't mean crap sometimes. Well, that's what Tug and I were talking about last night with the gang on Midnight's Edge After Dark, where it's a very underreported and under-talked about thing. And I think this case will help more people discuss male victims of abuse. So that's at least one positive of this whole thing. Blue-Eyed Roof Korean the base says TikTok juror is fake. Guy also claimed to be laundry.
I think he's referring to the same YouTuber that was outed in a previous super chat.
Orville Nation says, in the Orville universe, we can send Amber to MacLeod, where her antics would be ignored by a whole planet of males. Sorry, I'm Orville biased. Yeah, we checked out the Orville last night, PJ, or we talked about it last night, I should say. Checked it out the night before. It's pretty good so far.
Orville, I can't wait to check out the new season. I haven't had
the first episode was different, I'll tell you that much. But
Strange New Worlds number 5 was good.
I saw the first half of episode 1 of Strange New Worlds.
The Pike stuff was the best stuff. The rest was
which one? Which one? The script
in Strange New Worlds episode 5. The Pike stuff was the best because
it felt like
Anson Mount was in on the joke but not winking to the camera.
That was great. That was extremely well written. I just we can talk. We'll talk about Strange New Worlds. I got some non-spoiler stuff. I can talk about Strange New Worlds or Let's keep
We'll
going.
do,
here.
we'll do a separate Strange New World stuff later because I'm getting caught up on it too. So far, I'm half an episode in. So we'll get back to Strange New Worlds.
That sounds about like me.
Yeah, I will say that half episode was shockingly not bad.
I haven't watched any of that.
And the first one's the worst one.
That's a plus.
Okay, very quickly, you have to watch Strange New Worlds and pretend that no other Star Trek ever existed.
Well, the beauty is that so far is that one throwaway line, and then you can pretend that the other stuff never happened.
Yes, so that's one. Number two, don't expect allegorical science fiction like TOS. Okay, so just get that out. It is actually the Love Boat in space.
You're not selling me here.
They already did that with Star Trek on Saturday Night Live with Patrick Stewart hosted.
Did they?
Yes, Geordi was the bartender.
Oh, well, this is what.
That explains it. If he gave a Goldsman must have seen that skit.
Well, they set the tone with that first episode, that first sex episode. I think it's appropriate if that's the case.
Yep. And there's a Freaky Friday moment in this episode, right, Script Doctor?
Yes, there is, which is very absurd.
I loved it.
What's really messed up, I was watching it with my girlfriend, and she commented that the makeup that they gave the actress for Spock's love interest looks more like a porn star than an actual Vulcan.
Maybe that's why I liked her.
Perhaps.
You have a girlfriend? What?
Yeah.
I just
don't know. Almost 3 years.
Okay, keep going here.
Do it. Mr. Tickle Trunk says, push the like button. Thank you so much for that. Then Triwa Lee Chin, if I'm saying that right, says, in the U.S., usually an appeal will hinge on an error in the court and or trial proceedings. Exactly. I think even if a juror were to come out and say something right now, that would not constitute a retrial of any kind unless they were trying to claim that there was some massive issues.
Which is another reason why I don't think that anyone in this jury did it. I think that they have been so well drilled and trained by the judge that they're not going to do anything until the time is right for them to do it, when they're allowed to go out and speak. That's when we're seeing the book deals and everything, or at least that's when they'll be announced.
You know, and the more I think about it, I think that they won't appeal, and then when they're asked about it later on, she will be like, exactly what I was saying earlier, is they're like, oh, we were going to appeal, but at this point we knew the public was against us, so there was no sense in it. We could not get an unbiased jury. There's no way.
Oh, yeah, they can go with that argument.
See what I mean? Like, yeah, they'd be like, we'd never be able to get an unbiased jury now. Johnny has lied enough and got his way to everybody and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, exactly. Paulus Plain says, part 1. In modern times, the world's most successful word-of-mouth marketing campaign is Tesla. All other automotive companies have marketing ad budget and campaigns. This is true. And then part 2 of that is Tesla has no ad budget. In short, Tesla believes in itself. There are a lot of companies that do not believe in their own vision at all. Hollywood. Well, partially this is true. I get what you're saying here. The difference is a vehicle is a little bit more different than a film product or a television show, because you have so many various types, as opposed to where, like, you know, most people who go after a Tesla know exactly what they're going after, right? It'd be different if we knew, like, okay, it's something called Star Wars. I don't need to see a trailer for it. I already know what it is. I'll just go in blind, kind of thing. You can't really do that in this. You need the advertising, is my point, because otherwise, how would you get the word out there about something that nobody knows? You know, that's the thing. But I kind of see your
there's
analogy
a
here.
Yeah, something with no IP has to be marketed.
Exactly. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you can call on me anytime, Tom. And and Tesla was on its own for a good long time as the electric king or queen or non-binary, whatever. And but now that all the other cars are coming, manufacturers are coming out with electric, I guarantee you they're going to start having to advertise.
You know, there were plenty of electrical cars before Tesla as well. There was even a Norwegian electrical car. Just didn't sell anything, even in Norway.
Plus, it helped that Tesla had kind of
I mean,
had
Tesla is like a sexy brand. It sells on the brand
well,
alone.
and not only that, and Elon Musk and all that kind of shit too. So
yeah,
like you have that going for it, but kind of like how Apple ran, right? They didn't do a lot of advertising either. I mean, they did some, but not like to the extent.
They did that legendary 1984 British Bartha commercial that did not track as well as they wanted.
But that's why after that they didn't do a whole lot of advertising, and they just kind of ran you just.
They did their commercials with Justin Long and John Hoshman, Apple versus PC.
Later. But for years they didn't.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of people advertise for Apple as soon as the WWE.
They didn't get back into the advertising game until they started doing like the MP3 players
the
and
iPod
some of the other stuff like that. Yeah,
iconic ads ever. I think the iPod ad is considered the ones with the two color and the white lanyard. Yeah. Is considered.
That's what I'm saying. For years, they just ran on the idea that an Apple computer was an Apple computer, and that's all you need to know. That's the thing. Yeah, kind of like a Tesla in a way.
I was involved while I was consulting with Apple. We can have another discussion.
There you go. Well, then you would know about it. So
I can tell you a lot.
There you go. I don't know much about Apples. I worked on the last Apple I ever played with was probably like an Apple II.
Yeah, that's an Apple, not a Macintosh.
Yeah.
And I built Hackintoshes for 6 years.
Hackintoshes, yes. Jack Kluman says, my life is already melodramatic without this story. Laughing and grinning at the absurdity of it soothes my soul. Yes, really.
Oh, thank you, Jack Kluman.
Indeed. Well, and that's the beauty of it is how many women aren't buying this story, right? Like, they're calling the bullshit out right away. They were the first ones out there going, this bitch is lying.
It's been interesting. I have been watching feminist sites both for and against, just because it's interesting to do the drama, and it helps me with my script ideas and stuff like that, to watch all sides. Just in general, you learn stuff, and it's been very interesting watching both sides comment on the.
It's important to do so. Like, you have to understand the other side to, in this case, to see the lunacy of where they're coming from. But still, like, it's a world review thing, and you have to understand how they see the world.
Yeah, I agree.
ActionCom says, set a calendar for 1 year and do whatever happened to Amber video. I'd watch it. Yeah, there you go.
Like, the Battle of the Stars. What was the movie where they actually wrestled with each other? Words and Music.
I don't remember that one. I remember when they would do like the Circus of the Stars and stuff like that, but I don't remember them ever wrestling.
Celebrity Deathmatch.
Yeah, that I remember.
That was in the movie Words and Music, where
okay,
the washed up musician played by the British guy.
Never seen it. Yeah.
It's a fun movie. Anyway, doesn't matter. Keep going.
I'd be happy to do that video, but
we don't even have to mark anything because it was my birthday. So
that we are going to know exactly where she is in 1 year from now. So it's not going to be any whatever. More like, won't that bitch ever go away? I think that's more likely to happen.
Well, aren't we roughly a year from Aquaman coming out? Or is that early next
roughly.
year?
We are roughly a year from it. So we know. So I don't know where she will be, but I know where she won't be, and that's in Aquaman 2.
All I can tell you is that
you were in that.
If they hire the animation team that replaced Sonic, then they could maybe put Sonic in there.
Oh, that would be funny.
That would be.
Or get ugly Sonic. That was one of the best parts. I watched that stupid fucking Rescue Rangers movie finally this weekend. And my God. The best joke was probably the ugly Sonic. That was probably the best joke in the whole movie. The rest of it was horrible.
That's with the two squirrels.
Yeah. It was kind of a retake on the Rescuers, but with Chip and Dale. Yeah.
Indubitably. No, after you. No, I insist. No, you go first.
No, that's not Chip and Dale. That's the Warner Brothers one.
That's the Warner Brothers Chipmunks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Doug and the duck and the bunny that you're referring to there, I think.
No, it's the two chipmunks. They're two.
Warner Brothers and Looney Tunes, Merry Melodies had their own.
Oh, right, yeah,
they were their own chipmunks. Yeah.
Oh, I insist. No, you go first. Oh, you're so kind.
Yeah.
I have some vague memories of that.
And then Disney did 3 seasons of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, and then the movie makes it look like they did longer seasons. And it was
the movie
ruined. It is the fact that you have two performers that are not actually acting. They're just Andy Samberg and the closeted gay stand-up comic whose name is escaping me at the moment.
Andy Dick?
No, he's not closeted.
Oh, no, he's not.
The one who wishes he was Grant Gustin but isn't.
Yeah, I can recognize the voice, but I can't think of his name either.
John Mulaney, that's the one.
That's it, yeah.
John Mulaney.
It's not that good.
They're just talking back and forth to each other as themselves. They're not.
So you watched it too, Script?
Yeah. Last weekend I was with my girlfriend and one of her friends, and their kids were there, and that was on in the background. And I kept on going back and forth to it because I'm like, this is fascinatingly terrible.
That's the thing, because it's not made really enough. It's not good enough for adults, but the jokes and the type of story it is, for the most part, would go over kids' heads.
Yes.
Like, so I'm like, who is this for? Because it's not really for the fans of the show, because it's insulting to the fans of the show and anybody who grew up in the 90s. And as far as the kids, yeah, there's a little bit of a story there kids could follow, but I'd see them getting kind of bored after a while. Because there's just nothing really for them to attach to here.
Well, the kids were into it just on the singing and the slapstick, but like they
liked it. Okay, well,
there's actually talking when the story was actually being discussed or like moving without any sort of direct comedy or like the verbal jokes, they did not get at all. They just got like the slapstick, the being hit over the head type of stuff, the Tweety birds flying around.
It's the equivalent of those really bad reunion movies we used to get for TV shows. Paul knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes.
Where 20 years after the fact, they get everybody together and there's always some cataclysmic thing that broke everybody up that we never saw. And now they're all just, that's what it is. And it's a lot of just talking and...
Well, its biggest failure was making the Rescue Rangers cartoon show an actual cartoon show, and they were all actors into it, as opposed to it being just commit to the actual fantasy that they were wanting.
I agree.
I can't believe we're talking Rescue Rangers on this channel.
Well, we were asked by lots of fucking people to watch this, and I know why, because there's less than 30 seconds of He-Man and Skeletor in it.
Yeah, Alan Oppenheimer does both voices.
Yeah, not very well. Skeletor is okay, and the He-Man one was bad.
Where's Mel Brooks when you need him?
God, he would have made the movie a little better, but I think he quit because he's like, I can't be funny anymore.
Hey, I think he died.
Mel Brooks?
No, I think he's still alive. Max was talking about him.
Another person where things.
No, Mel Brooks is very much alive.
No, not Mel Brooks. I mean Mel Blanc.
Oh, Mel Blanc.
Yeah.
I could have swore you said Mel Brooks.
Or, no, I did say Mel Brooks. I meant Mel Blanc.
Oh yeah, Mel Blanc is sadly long past.
I'm Maurice LaMarche. I'm friends with him, and he's a brilliant voice actor.
Oh, he's great. Yeah,
he is. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yes, he is very, very amazing.
He does a great Columbo too.
Oh, and there's someone who I'm so proud of because he was a okay stand-up at Yuck Yucks when we started, and then he went off to LA and became a voice actor and became huge. And it's like that was a great bit of news for me as someone who was part of the stand-up fraternity in Toronto and made good. That's always nice.
Yes, and for those who may not recognize the name, he is the Brain from Pinky and the Brain, and of course Egon. And
that's right.
And 9 times out of 10, if you hear Orson Welles' voice in something, it's him.
That's and we started at the same time with Jim Carrey and a whole bunch of Canadians that went down there. It was a fun time.
Yeah, and Jim tried for years and years and years and years.
Well, Jim started when he was 14. Yuck Yuck was only about less than 10 years old at that time, I think, because it was all burlesque stuff is where he did.
Didn't his dad have to bring him because he was underage at that time, if I remember right?
Yep. And then he got a gig in L.A. He was in that sitcom Duck something. It failed, and that kind of crushed him.
Yeah, the Duck Factory.
Poor guy. Very, very sweet guy. His biggest failing at the time was he said yes to everything.
Yeah.
And really, really sweet person. It was.
And he almost had it there with the Once Bitten. Once Bitten was a little bit of a kind of a sleeper, and then it just he kind of went away until In Living Color. But yeah. Casperia says Amber needs to cut her losses then sue the baby daddy for all the money and support in the world. I'm looking at you, Elon. Well, here's the problem with that. It's considering how it was all surrogate and stuff. I'm sure all rights were signed away and all that kind of
surrogate and artificial insemination.
Yeah.
I got a question.
Sure.
Do you think she has whatever that magic royal jelly that she has capturing rich crazy men that she just won't move on to some guy who still thinks there's something left in that amber tank?
Well, Jeff Bezos is still single, so.
Oh, there's that.
Andy has a big rocket.
But that was one of the most telling moments when that one guy on the stand, he was like, yeah, I'm friends with both of them. And I continued to talk with Amber after a while. And they got into the Elon subject. And he's like, I told her, quit dating celebrities.
You know what? I think that's her next shot, is just find some rich guy from Monaco.
Pretty much become some princess in some fucking foreign country.
I'm telling you, that's the next good gig for her.
Wow, I didn't think you would suggest Monaco. That's kind of a step up, isn't it?
Right.
I meant Club Monaco.
Oh.
It's down on by the beach.
Is that way she'd kind of like be a pirate princess, because that's what the royalty of Monaco are descended from.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Lord Trinan says Amber's best career choice going forward, hardcore S&M with her as the M. Lots of people will probably pay to see her punished. Maybe, but again, just if she owns the poop thing, there's a whole industry for that.
That's true.
So, like, again, and that's where we brought up the Shiza joke. And like, again, it's come on, it writes itself there, kids. Mecha J says Amy Schumer voiced her support for Amber. No surprise there.
Oh, no,
as if being unfunny wasn't enough reasons to dislike her.
Right? Well, maybe Amy wants to play her in the made-for-TV movie.
Amy Schumer is Amber Heard.
It's Amber Heard. Two Amber Heards, actually, at one. Ooh, fat shaming. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's funny because I actually...
Grimaldi.
You say that, Paul, but did you see the one post I made where they had a picture of Leo at the beach and a picture of what's her face we were just talking about at the beach?
Amy Schumer.
Amy Schumer. And in the one, it's Amy Schumer looking great at the beach, and she's got this big old pudge like she always does. And then, of course, Leo has a little bit of a pudge like he, because he's getting up there at age and whatever. He makes a movie once a year. He don't need to have to look that good. So they're basically fat shaming him from the same paper. I'm like, okay, now tell me there isn't a double standard without telling me there's a double standard.
Well, no one should be doing any fat shaming.
Yeah, Leo DiCaprio.
Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio. Exactly.
He's gonna look good. I don't care if he.
That's what everybody. A lot of people were saying in the comments. They're like, "Fuck, he still looks good." Even wish I looked that good. I'm like, right? No shit. Almost in his late 40s and looking that good? Fuck yeah. They're just jealous because he's dating women half their age. That's the problem. E. Barlow's Rotten Crotch coming in with another £5 says, Amber texting, hey babe, I lost. Can I borrow $8.5 million? Elon, new phone. Who dis?
He might give it to her.
I don't know. See, I'm starting to wonder if he didn't set her up with one of the worst fucking teams in history, because he supposedly is the one who paid for her defense.
You know what? When you're a star and you got money, you'll attract all sorts of people.
DCV Titan says Nate the lawyer ran the numbers. An average of OF sub is around OnlyFans sub is around $7 a month. So if Turd can get 1.2 million simps for 1 month, oh yeah, I think she's got 3 times that on her Instagram and Twitter. So I think she could probably pull that off.
Yeah, but how many of those are bots? Because bots.
That's true. But look, there's a lot of men who get lonely and desperate. And in a day and age like this, when they're even more afraid to ask a woman out because of Me Too shit, yeah. Bama Grad says, if Amber Heard needs money, then she should go to cons, set up a dunk tank, and charge $50 for 5 balls. Heck, I would pay $100 for 5 chances to dunk her. You know what, Bama Grad? That's not a bad idea for her.
No, that's not. That's right.
She'd make money at a kissing booth too.
That's right.
I'd be afraid of what you caught. She claims she got her lip split. I'm like, no, that's fucking herpes, woman. Eric K says, Lucy Lawless is 54 years old. Oh, you meant replace Kidman as the mother. Lucy Lawless could probably, she's not that bad looking for 54.
No, she looks great.
Yeah.
I love
she
Lucy.
Could be a lot worse. Look a lot worse at 54. Blah, if I could talk.
Oh yeah, we were at a fan con and she was really nice at the.
Mm-hmm.
She seems like she'd be sweet. London Tess says
film that she made recently, Spine of the something, that animated film.
I have not seen it.
Yeah. Spine of Night, I think it's called.
Oh, that's that one that's like heavy metal inspired.
Yes,
that's the one.
it feels like the sequel to Heavy Metal. It's fantastic.
We'll do a whole video.
You mean
on
an
that
actual
one.
real sequel, not that Heavy Metal 2000 thing?
Correct. An actual real sequel that doesn't detract from Heavy Metal, but has the feel and intensity of that world that Heavy Metal created. You'd like it, Tom.
Awesome. I'm already getting excited. London Test says, happy belated birthday, Tom. Well, thank you. What was your birthday movie this year? I didn't go to a movie this year. I don't think I watched any movies on my birthday because I was so busy with work, to be honest with you. I did eventually get to watch like The Offer, though. That was about it.
Oh, I
And
hear that.
Hulu
I don't
had
get it. I don't get it here.
Hopefully you'll get it soon because it's amazing. What was the other thing we watched? Oh yeah, Orville. So yeah, I got to watch those. We talked about those.
The Boys has been released, and I hear it's pretty violent.
People tell me I got to watch that.
God. The first 15 minutes are shocking.
Yes.
I won't get
Oh,
into it
yeah.
other than I never want to see anything close to that ever again.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited now.
It's not bad. It's just it's if you're a man, it's very disturbing.
Oh no.
I think I've heard
I'm a
about it.
squeamish viewer. Script.
Yeah,
know
yeah.
more.
Towards the first 10 is fine, but the 5 after that, that's gonna cause you some nightmares.
But is it any good?
The episode was pretty good
Okay.
overall. Yeah, what it was setting up, what it was trying to do, I was on board for that. Better than season 2 so far.
Aiken says with $7.99 Australian, Ben Stiller could play Mira. He's had prior mermaid experience.
Okay.
I don't get that.
He was a mermaid in Zoolander for a bit.
Oh, that's
Yes.
right. The one that's one of my test movies. If we bring new friends over, they don't think it's funny, we just toss them. That's it. You're done.
Then you're gonna have to toss me.
You don't like Zoolander?
I have a love-hate with Ben. I love some of his stuff, but Zoolander was one that just didn't click with me as well. I mean, there was moments I laughed in it, and I love some of the jokes, but
Mystery Men?
Mystery Men I love.
Okay, it was great in that. I agree with you. I totally understand. But Zoolander, that's
See, and I think I heard you like also like the Zohan movie. Like that's another one I can't stand.
love Zohan.
See,
But you're
that
not
was where I had the turning point with Adam Sandler.
Okay, but you're not a Hebe.
No.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry.
understand that if you have Jewish.
No, I'm sure a lot of the
experience
jokes are like
understand.
way over my head.
I'm
so,
a
yeah.
Hebe. So, you know.
But outside of that, like, yeah, just at that point, like he kind of lost me after Little Nicky anyway. So
No, okay, that's it. Yes. I agree with you.
Yeah,
'Cause he was like-
based off of a review character from his Saturday Night Live Weekend Update days, and it only lasted 2 episodes, and nobody ever wanted it back again. And he's like, "Let me
Yeah.
use this voice for a movie for the entire 2 hours."
yeah, no.
Oh,
Yeah, the best part of that movie was Rodney Dangerfield. That's about it.
But
Pithead's coming with me.
but comic actors drift in and out. I had it with Farrell, and then
Yeah, he's kind of give or take for me too.
and then the race movie came out. The
Talladega
NASCAR.
Nights. Yeah.
Oh my God! And then that just like sucked me back in again, and we loved that.
See,
I
yeah,
like
with-
the baby Jesus. No, I like the grown up Jesus.
When
See,
Amy
as I
Adams says, like, "We made love," and then the dad's like, "Well, I wish I could have been there to see that." I'm like, "That's a really clever joke."
And
Yeah,
and,
it's-
and
Farrell's one
Sacha
of those I
Baron
can
Cohen
usually get
playing
into.
the effeminate F1 racer with his boyfriend. Oh my God, that was anyway. I enjoyed.
It's all right. No, I like most of Favreau.
Farrell.
Jesus, Farrell. I knew how it meant. Farrell's stuff for the most part. Yeah. Archangel G says, how many people that destroyed Star Wars are still employed? Jon Favreau is just one man, and he can't save Star Wars by himself. You're right, and I think he's getting stretched too thin. And how many people have destroyed Star Wars? At least no less than 5 or 6 that I can think of right
basically
offhand.
Everyone working under Kathleen Kennedy and who is ideologically aligned with her have ruined Star Wars. That's a
Favreau
simple
may
answer.
even be ideologically aligned, but he just wants to make good Star Wars. But at the same time, I think he's putting too much trust in people like Filoni. And when you have somebody like Hidalgo, who is basically like a bottleneck for any of the stories, that's a problem.
So how does he stick around? I don't understand. Like, so much tension. Like when you meet someone, do you pretend that you like them?
Well,
Hi,
maybe he
so good
hopes to
see
outlast
you.
them.
Pardon me?
Maybe he hopes to outlast them.
Maybe. No,
I'm
I
thinking
was done with
so.
Star Wars after the first J.J. Abrams movie. I went, wow, this is
Yeah.
shit.
I was done with Star Wars
done.
when JJ was announced to be directing.
I was technically done with Star Wars back in 1999, but we don't need to go there. Callum
I
Lyle
never
says,
got into it. That was the easy solution.
I go buy DC New 53 in case you're interested. BUI, like you buy it? There's a new DC 53, or do you mean that's what you call the DC?
I think that's what he makes up in his head.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I think he meant there. So, all right. Well, that makes sense. Mr. Tickle Trunk says Star Trek has been reincarnated as the Orville. I agree. Orville is getting even more Star Trek than it ever was before. Wildman Beyond says, hey, Amber, OnlyFans is waiting for you, and they're waiting for you. Mech 1164 says Strange New Worlds is to me is set in Prime, but Prime is not OGTOS, much to the protestations to the latter from CBS. That's the only way I can enjoy it. Well, you're technically right, because it is set in Prime.
It is set in Prime. That's the whole thing.
They can keep trying to pretend all they fucking want, but
yeah. No pretending. That is the Prime timeline, which you will recall is an invention of J.J. Abrams and the movie. And Strange New Worlds does take place in the Prime timeline, which is not
Leonard
to
Nimoy
be
played
confused
Ethan
with
Peck's
the original
Spock.
classic continuity. Sorry, Script, you were saying.
Leonard Nimoy is playing Ethan Peck's Spock, in essentially. And
from the 2009 movie,
From the 2009 movie, which basically means that the old Spock existed before the Ethan Peck Spock. It's so weird. But yeah, there's Star Trek, and then there's the Prime, and then there's the Kelvin. And the Prime and the Kelvin are very much interlinked, and then the original Star Trek is its own untarnished thing.
Well, that's the funny thing is now that nobody gives a shit about Star Trek, all the stuff that Andre and because they started reporting this stuff before I even came in, so all the stuff that Andre and we, when after the fact came in, have been reporting has pretty much all been confirmed at this point. All these things, but nobody would care now, right? And this is kind of what I predicted. I'm like, they're gonna admit a lot of this shit when nobody gives a shit anymore at that point. That's kind of where we also got the 25% different thing. Right?
Yeah,
they finally fucking admitted it.
That is pretty much accurate, yes.
But now we could do a whole video on it and nobody would care. Because nobody watches it. Star Trek stuff much anymore. But maybe Strange New Worlds will help
does anyone know what the Strange New World numbers are?
I haven't heard anything. And if they usually will boast about it if they're really great.
They definitely deserve a thumbs up for the hotness of the show. I mean, I think the actors are I think they're likable. That's something I haven't seen in years.
Yes, and as Script Doctor has said, you're better off with likable characters than good plot.
Yeah, you really are.
And they are. I'm liking the characters.
Well, Star Trek was usually more about the characters. I mean, even though the plots were really good in a lot of episodes, but in a lot of cases,
challenged the characters.
That's exactly. It was about the characters. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, Rebecca Romaine is always wonderful. And she's doing. It was weird that they gave her Vulcan eyebrows because that threw me off. I like Dr. Mbenga's performance a lot. I think he's really. I lean into the screen whenever he's speaking because he just has this gravitas about the way he performs that I enjoy. Not too much of a fan of Ortega because she feels like she's a fish out of water, out of time type of thing. She's very contemporary. I really like Hemmer, the Enar character. Yep. Mm-hmm. He's really cool. Drummer, who is supposed to be Noonien Singh, but I call her Drummer because she's made to look exactly like another actress from her. She's okay. I'm warming up to her. And of course, Anson Mount is really knocking it out of the park. Ethan Peck still needs to go back to acting school. He is nowhere near as good as his grandfather. But I mean, he's
That's
trying.
a pretty tall order, though.
It is. It's a pretty tall.
Although the woman playing T. Pring, when they do that thing, which we won't get into, I was really impressed with the subtle change in her performance, and I went, "That's a good actor." Holy
I was like that too.
Like shit, what she did there. went from that wooden kind of Teespring thing to that other thing she had to do. Not spoiling it for them.
I don't want to spoil either, but I will say,
Oh my gosh,
she channeled
that's
a
so
performance
bad?
that's very reminiscent of someone else's performance.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh. Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
No, it's a fun. I completely agree with your analysis, and I'll add one more thing, and that is what's the girl version of a bromance that's not sexual?
Friends.
What? What? Just friends?
For
anyway,
friends?
Girl crush? Girl crush?
Yeah, girl crush.
The crush would be that would
They're
imply
like
something
pseudo
sexual,
siblings,
wouldn't it?
essentially.
The while
Besties, I
initially,
guess, was the other thing
I
gonna
object
say.
having Laan and Una in the same show because they kind of occupy the same space. They had a very good. It was a very good moment with them. It was fun. I enjoyed it, and it was just nice seeing two women enjoy each other's company without any kind of sexual innuendo, like on
So
this.
they're not lesbians.
They were not.
No.
Well, we don't
No.
know that yet.
We don't know that. They do behave more like their siblings, actually.
Yeah. But it was just so, I mean, in fact, that's the one thing that was missing from TOS. And if you're talking about what the social justice warriorness might bring to upgrade an old show, just having two women together who enjoy each other's company, that to me is a phenomenally good upgrade. And I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
No weird lesbian stuff. Not that
No
weird.
innuendo. That's the thing. It was no innuendo. It was all
or out
very
your endo. None of
out
those.
your endo. That's for sure.
So that I just enjoyed the simplicity of two people enjoying each other's company that weren't men.
Ah.
That was a nice change. So Chapel wasn't so bad either.
And then you're getting this one, Andre, because I can't read that.
Oh.
Yeah, my fellow Norseman from Sweden, Mattias Fredriksson, says for 20 Swedish krona, Andre, still waiting for epic Flåklypa retrospective.
Say that again. Fruk, what?
Flåklypa.
He just raised 3 Cthulhus. Thanks.
Yeah. Flåklypa Grand Prix. That is one of the greatest Norwegian movies ever made. It's actually a stop motion animated movie, and it is absolutely fantastic. It is available with an English dub, where the story has been moved to England, I guess, and the English title is called The Pinchville Grand Prix, if anyone wants to look for that. So then basically they've translated Flåklypa into Pinchville for the English version. It's a great movie in its own right. It's been followed by 4 sequels, one of which is animated, and 3 more recent ones, which are also stop motion. Personally, I prefer those, and it's all based on some old Norwegian comic book and book series. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I would love to do that retrospective. I don't know that there's interest for it on this channel, but I'd love to do one.
I think we can do 2.5 hours on it.
Yeah, well, I could do 6 hours on it easily. I mean, the guy who did it even has a museum in Norway. So Mattias, if you come to Alvdal, which is the place where the author is from, you should check out the museum dedicated to the author of those books, the Aukrust Museum. It is fantastic. It's just literally in the middle of nowhere.
Is this some European Hergé? It's like the Norwegian version of Hergé.
Yes.
No one else gives a fuck about.
That is
good.
That is indeed correct. This is the Norwegian Hergé. That is correct.
Okay, there you go.
You nailed it. This is the Norwegian Hergé. I'm impressed. For those who do not know, Hergé is the creator of Tintin.
Right.
For those that do not know, Tintin is a pretty big deal in European comics.
Oh, Tintin is awesome. I have all the high def animated cartoons that they played in the 90s. They're wonderful. And I used to have a couple of their old comic books that they did. But
then just to have Spielberg completely fuck it over, I was so mad.
Yeah, the biggest fuck over was that they didn't do the sequels. That was the biggest fuck over. But Luckily, the whole thing is an animation, plus the French even have a few live-action movies on Tintin, going way back. You didn't know that?
No.
There are live-action Tintin movies from the 60s and stuff.
Yes, I've seen those. Yes, the guy with the orange hair and the
exactly.
Yeah.
And before we move on, well, do this one. Joe Pat 87 says for $4.99. The only other joke in the Rescue Rangers movie I liked was Darkwing Duck's cameo. Spoiler alert. At least for that moment, he was in character.
Let's get dangerous.
The problem with that, though, is he's telegraphing the movie we're getting from none other than the movie's other star, which is the reason I couldn't stand half the film. Seth Rogen.
Really?
Are we done with Seth Rogen? He used to be funny.
No, he's doing Darkwing Duck.
But he's crazy now. Now he's less funny.
Yeah, he's.
I think that's what the movie was setting up at the end.
The last funny thing I saw him in was the interview with the James Franco, the movie that gave us the glorious Sony hack. I mean, I love that movie just for that reason. But
I was going to say, just for that movie, I wonder if it holds up.
The End of the World movie I thought was pretty good.
That one was good.
I thought him and Bill Hader as the cops in Superbad was probably the best performance he ever gave.
I agree with Script. That's probably hands down his best performance ever, those two. Because Bill Hader elevates everybody he's around, though.
Yeah.
I like
and STR Red Wolf wonders for $2. You mean the Pinchcliffe Grand Prix? Yeah, that's probably the one. That's probably the one, yeah.
Shit, Bill Hader even steals one of his better movies with Pineapple Express. The best bit is in the beginning with Bill Hader before the movie even gets into the movie.
I like the pineapple. I like
the movie, but I'm sorry, that bit in the beginning with Bill Hader playing the military guy who's smoking the weed is the funniest bit of the entire fucking movie in my opinion. But anyway, Joe Pat. Oh, yeah, we got this one. Sorry. Were you going to say something else, Andre?
Yeah, no, moving on.
What did you think of Rangers movie basing Peter Pan's backstory off of tragedy of voice actor Bobby Driscoll? Some thought it was in poor taste. I agree. It wasn't. Maybe people made a little bit more to do about it than really needed to be, but the fact that, of course, to me, it rang more like they were making fun of us. We were those kids who can't move on, like Peter, because we've got the DVDs and the figurines, and we love our kids stuff. To me, I think they were making more fun of that aspect of it and making him the bad guy, and he's safe because he's a white male and all these other things. Plus, he's technically public domain now on top of it, even though it doesn't matter for Disney because they have their version anyway. But all that being said, I thought it was just a bad idea from the start. I don't know about you, Andre, but yeah, Script Doctor, anybody else who's seen it, but
I'm not entirely fully familiar with Bobby Driscoll's story.
Basically, yeah, basically he went into
I know he died
drugs
young.
and alcohol and all that kind of shit. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the original Peter Pan and the symbolism behind that, which is relatively lost to the Disney version. But this iteration, I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, the only thing I was surprised was how many characters Disney didn't know that they were able to get into that movie.
Yeah, to me, that was probably the most surprising and best part about it, or at least, I guess, most entertaining, was that, wow, the lack of Disney characters in comparison to mostly Paramount and the few random Warner Brothers characters. I'm like, wow, how did they manage that?
Did you see the bench poster of Butthead running for senator?
Oh yeah, that's a Paramount one. Yeah, that one made me chuckle. Like, the Paramount ones kind of surprised me, but then they didn't, considering how much Ugly Sonic was in there. I'm like, yeah, they must have had to work out a good deal with Paramount anyway. So partially I wasn't surprised, but the fact that they used South Park character, like when they had that I'm like, wow, I can't believe that, considering how South Park is talked about Disney, but and treated Disney in the show. But yeah, other than just some of the fun cameos, it was like, yeah, what is this other than Cameo the movie? I mean, you got fucking MC Scat Cat in the beginning, for Christ's sakes, with Paula Abdul. I mean, that's a deep fucking cut. I mean, there's some of that kind of stuff that was like, yeah, that's kind of neat. Too bad it wasn't in a better movie. But yeah, I wasn't too keen on the whole Peter thing either. T. Neal says Tom's birthday should have had the Thor Ragnarok birthday song.
Next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
This says I had an abusive father, but I even saw through Amber's bull. Well, that's the thing, is whether they were male or female. Most people who've actually been victims of actual abuse saw right through Amber's shit. Right away.
Here's like the thing, whether it was the father, the mother, or a male or female partner, most abusers have some kind of cluster B personality disorder. That's what makes them become abusers in the first place. Now, not every single abuser has that, although most do, and not every single person with cluster B personality disorders become abusers, although most do. But the link is prevalent enough that most have some variety of it. And yeah, whether it was the father, the mother, male, female, you're going to see some common traits there. There are like some commonalities. Just go with cluster B personality disorders. That's universal because you're a psycho in colloquial terms.
Yeah. And then we got Tennille again, who says $250 if they remove the burial from. Oh shit, that would be bad. That would be bad for her anyway. I mean, Darren Hughes says I'd like to see Amber Heard in an Amber Alert, which was funny when the Amber Alert went off in the middle of the court. That timing was so hilarious. Arcane Stork says Deborah Ann Wall would be a much better replacement for Amber in Aquaman 2 than Emilia Clarke. Maybe. There's been a lot of people suggesting some. We're just going off of earlier reporting and things that we had heard. And
actually, I saw that this has now been confirmed by our good friends over at Small Screen. They have now heard from an independent, or actually a studio source. This is something that they reported earlier today, with a studio source confirming to them that they were considering her indeed. As we have reported before, she was the candidate. That doesn't mean that Hamada lied, because they never reached out to her. There was never any formal talks. But what there was if we decide not to go through with this is who we're going after. We're going after Emilia Clarke. So she was the one that they had internally decided, this is who we want. But there was never any formal talks.
No, but they did have Boss Logic do that art and stuff too for a reason, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. I think that it got to a point where they were about to present it to her, and then Ann Sarnoff and Emmerich said, no, we're going to stick with Amber.
Probably.
But yeah, I've seen a lot of people do their casting choices in the last few days, and I'm not surprised. Jeff C. wonders, was there an Asterix movie?
Yes, there was. Not just one. If you're referring to animated, there was like 20. But if you're referring to live action, there's been 4 and counting, because there is a new one coming next year. So the French have been making live action Asterix movies for 20 years.
I never got Asterisk and Obelix.
I love it. I love Asterix.
I'm aware of it, but yeah, never.
Yeah, but you like schnapps too.
I'm like, what?
Schnapps.
Oh.
Stick it in the freezer for a while. Have it with some lobster. You filthy Norwegian.
You can put it on ice cream too.
Oh yeah, but yeah, no. Actually, I really enjoy Asterix and Obelix.
Yes.
And also, Asterix and Obelix, they have not 1 but 2 games of the Sega Mega Drive, and they're both really good. First one is better though.
Jason from Sci-Fi from ETV says asks, isn't there a new Asterix series in the works too?
Asterisk is kind of like also enjoying the Eurovision. It's like really not particularly good music.
Read by Nature brings up the game. That's the thing. I probably remember the game more than I remember anything else. But yeah. Coolbot says, didn't Phantom Menace steal a race from Pinch Left scene for scene?
That is the rumor. That is what was being reported in Norway at the time, because so many people saw that movie and they've grown up with Flåklypa Grand Prix, Pinchville Grand Prix, and they said, "Holy shit!" They literally lifted that. I don't know. I have never seen a scene.
I'm willing to bet,
comparison,
knowing George.
I would be surprised if there was, to be honest.
He was
I'm not
inspired
sure
by it, I bet, because he loves expressionist films. He loves foreign films. He loves.
I'm sure he's aware of it. I'm sure there was some inspiration, but I don't think it was a scene-for-scene copy.
I have a question.
I'll hook you up with the movie if you want. Yeah,
for you, Andre, because recently when I saw, and it's kind of a little off topic, but it's not long. The Northman, there's a scene where they're fighting and they're kind of like, it reminded me of one of the scenes from Revenge of the Sith, where Anakin and Obi-Wan were fighting and where he gets injured. The famous scene.
In front of the lava.
Yes.
The volcanoes.
Was it inspired by the Northman stories? I'm kind of curious because I couldn't not think about that scene when I saw that famous scene in the Northman. Is there a connection?
I don't think so. I don't think that George Lucas went into any kind of Nordic sagas to find anything with volcanoes and stuff like that.
I wouldn't put it
for
past
those that
him,
may wonder, Iceland is full of volcanoes, and they're active volcanoes. So like that, I'm sure that there must be some Icelandic saga that I don't have right now where there was some fighting done in front of the live volcano.
He did study a lot of myths and stuff, Andre, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's brushed up against it at some point.
Because I immediately saw that scene, Andre, and I could not stop thinking about that scene in Revenge of the Sith. It was impossible not for me to associate it. Even some of the way, like even in the lore where he says he would find the sword in a moving lake or something, and I wondered what, a lake on fire or something. I wondered what all this was about, and it felt very similar. It felt like it was the same feeling to me, and I don't normally get that in a lot of films. I just thought it was quite a connection, at least for me visually.
Yeah, visually there's absolutely a connection, but if George Lucas was inspired by some obscure Icelandic saga that I can't even recall in this moment whether it exists or not, or if he just thought, well, fighting over fire because I need him to be a burn victim, that's going to be awesome. I don't know. I would be inclined to think that he probably just decided that I need Anakin to be burned, and this is a really cool way of doing it. But hey, George Lucas, he's into all kind of mythology, foreign stuff, so maybe he took some inspiration from it. I honestly don't know.
That's just it.
There's not too many steals as obvious as Nolan stealing from Paprika for Inception. I mean, that's almost frame for frame rip off.
Where Inception is concerned, he did most of the stealing from Donald Duck.
Well, Paprika from Satori's Paprika. That
one too. But here's the thing, though. I believe Paprika came after the movie. At least is Paprika based on some anime?
On anime, I don't know whether it's got based on a manga.
But here's like the thing, that it's also like a scene for scene ripoff almost. We did a video covering this, how Inception, so much of it is ripped off of a Donald Duck comic.
You mean a Scrooge McDuck?
Probably a Scrooge McDuck in the US, yeah. Here in Norway, it's released as Donald Duck. That's how I would, but yeah, Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah,
and it's written by Don Rosa, who is one of the greatest comic book artists of all time. And he has this story where they have to venture into the dreams of Scrooge McDuck. I'll send you a story on through the video we did on it. And the similarities are so immense that there's no coincidence. Someone involved in the writing of Inception read that Uncle Scrooge comic. Like, it's way beyond coincidence. I'm sure there was some inspiration from Paprika.
Frame by frame, there's anime sequence that is frame by frame the same as the movie.
Paprika was released in 2006,
where they were not shy about ripping things off. So that would not surprise me.
Another show.
Yeah.
No, Nolan clearly steals a lot from like anime and other
absolutely.
things. For
Anyway,
sure.
I'll be happy to send you that video where we covered that. I think you'll get a kick out of
I would
seeing
love
how
it.
he stole from Uncle Scrooge.
You know what's funny though, Andre? The guy you just mentioned, I forgot his name.
Don Rosa?
Don Rosa. I almost sent you a picture of him the other day, and I forgot to. He was somebody took it at a comic convention, and he was in front of a bunch of his comic books and stuff, and he has a thing up says Uncle Scrooge is not DuckTales the comic or something like that. I knew you'd get a kick out of it.
Yeah. If anything, his comics inspired DuckTales.
This is
I
true,
met
but
him
like
several times. I have like several of his books.
Yeah,
signed.
but evidently he doesn't like the whole comparison, or people are thinking that his comic is the DuckTales comic or whatever. But anyway,
that's not
that 70s rock fan says, as a Canadian, I apologize for Seth Rogen. Please don't be too harsh on us. At least we gave you Rush, Dan Aykroyd, and John Candy. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Seth
but you
Rogen,
also gave us Bryan Adams. Let's not forget about that.
And Celine Dion.
Celine Dion's good. Bryan Adams, we apologize for that. The Jewish community would like to apologize for Seth Rogen.
Oh God, yeah. And then another one from Matthias.
Wonders for 20 Swedish krona. Epic Kon-Tiki review. Kon-Tiki, that's also a Norwegian movie.
That was a great movie.
That is based on
Heyerdahl.
a very true story. Yes. Thor Heyerdahl. That is correct. With when Thor Heyerdahl, he went on a straw boat from South America to the Polynesian islands.
That's right. It's anthropologically significant.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was really a good story.
And I don't like that movie very much. For the simple reason that they changed one character. They did a brutal character assassination because the directors, they decided that we need some kind of drama. And so they made one of the characters the sniveling little whiner that wanted to give up the whole time. And it was a complete character assassination because that never happened. If they wanted to showcase the drama, they should have just gone abroad and see it from the perspective of the family, the risk and danger they were actually in. So visually beautiful, but I don't like that.
Well,
movie.
they did that in Apollo 13 too. You know, the guys actually had no bad words for each other.
Same thing. They created like artificial tension, but in this case, it was like one guy that they made the source of the drama. And I feel bad for his legacy because it never happened.
No, it's funny. I didn't really notice that in the movie. It felt very Nova-ish to me.
An SDR Red Wolf wonders for $5. Hey, Andre, there was a question before the show. What is your opinion on the Sega Mega Drive Mini 2? Do you have
There's
one?
a 2?
I think he's probably referred... Well, there's a Mini 2?
That was my reaction. There's a 2?
I have the Mini 1, which I thought was just the only...
Or is it just like more games? They just put different games on it or something? Or is it something new? That's
this has to be investigated right now in this moment.
Well, I don't know about right in this moment, but
but anyway, Tom,
because I'm looking for Dark King's super chat we may have missed.
Of the existence of the original one.
I told you about it.
Yeah, you did. What was my response?
What? What is this? Where? How do I get one? Shit like that. You were like a little kid. You're like, where? What? What is it? What?
Yeah, my opinion was like, why have I not been told of this? And I'm feeling the same thing right now. There's a 2. Why haven't I?
This is news to me too. Yeah, that's my
but
favorite
anyway,
one.
I have one, and what I like the most about it is that you can hack it, and you can put in more games than it came with.
I have to figure out how to do that yet.
Hacked and altered games. You can put in Sonic 3 Complete. You can.
All I really want. I want to hack it, but just so I can get Jurassic Park and Beavis and Butthead on there.
No, I'll hook you up. It can be done relatively easily.
Yeah, when I first got it, they didn't know how to do it yet.
Are you telling me that we're not losing more people now?
A little bit more. But yeah, go ahead, Andre, and keep going because I'm still looking for Dark King's super chat that we may have missed.
Yeah, but I have it here behind the scenes.
Oh, you already have it? Okay.
I already have it.
Okay,
so moving on to next that we cannot bring up. Dark King said for $2 Australian, any movie production worse than Apocalypse Now?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, that one that was with Marlon Brando. What was that one where they had
Island of Dr. Moreau? But shit, Andres talked about a few Klaus Kinski movies that I'm sure were worse.
Oh yes,
yeah.
Everything by Terry Gilliam.
Oh yeah, half of Terry Gilliam's movie. That's true. Shit, there's Exorcist was a nightmare to shoot.
Okay, was it? Okay.
Oh well, they basically built that bedroom set in a cooler, in a freezer, like an industrial freezer. So you had the crew, the cast, everybody in this industrial freezer that was like below zero temperature, so they could get the
breath?
The breath, thank you. Yeah, the mist. I was gonna say the mist, but I'm trying to think of the word breath. Yeah, breath anyway, but but the problem was after about 10, 15, 20 minutes of shooting with all the hot lights, it would get too warm in there. So they'd have to shut everything down, come out for a little bit so it could cool back off, and then go back in there. And of course, poor Linda Blair, so that entire fucking shoot was stuck in, luckily she had covers, but otherwise she was just in a nightgown in this sub-zero temperature fucking freezer, and that's how they shot most of that movie. So on top of that, and just all the other, and then of course William Friedkin was kind of a nightmare to work for in general. But yeah, so like you have those kind of shoots, and yeah,
the Cameron movie about the underwater.
Oh yeah, where he almost killed half the crew.
Yep.
Oh, The Abyss. Yeah.
And then there was the movie where the helicopter chopped off the actor's head.
Twilight Zone.
Oh, sadly, the Twilight Zone. Yeah,
bad.
Victor Morrow and the two kid actors. Yeah,
That would have been bad. I got to answer the door.
No worries. So yeah, there's been many worse ones. You've had lots of sets burned down and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's more to it. But I think there were a couple of more super chats we might have missed here around the same time.
Sure, go ahead and grab them, and then we'll get the member chats while we're at it then.
House of Atreides, did we get this one? Said for $5 Canadian. If you're fine with Jake Kenobi, then you're fine with Jake Skywalker.
Yes,
we
got that one.
Okay.
Yep.
And Comrade Commissar Yuri said for £4.49. I don't see why they're blaming the jury, because Amber literally told the jury, look me up.
Yeah, we got that one too.
Okay, then we're good.
Well, and Dark King also sent a member chat and said, did you get my super chat already covered, or was it missed? So we got that one already. And then we've got one other member chat I saw here. I think I put in the back. That was, let's see here, where'd it go? Full Metal Smile, who's been a member for 2 months, or actually 5 months, sorry, at the Edgelord level. All amazing, hail all the amazing Midnight's Edge panel. So happy to be part of the fantastic community. Cheers from Montreal, Canada. Oh, another Canadian friend. Glad to have you here. I'm not convinced Canada actually exists. I think it's just northern Wisconsin. But we'll see. Someday, Script's going to have to convince me otherwise. And then I think we're caught up on the member chats. I think we had... Did we have any more, guys? Let me check the mod squad here. We did have... No, I think... Oh, no, we did have a few more. We have... Etienne Felidor, who says, I hope they replace Amber Heard with an actual redhead in Aquaman, and that Ezra is getting rid of as well. WB needs to clean house from the ground up. Well, they're not getting rid of Ezra in The Flash.
Yeah, he's going to be in that one no matter what.
And I think that's why they were pumping those stories out in the press yesterday to distract from the Amber situation, and also just kind of let people know that, yeah, because I think we're going to start hearing about some casting. Like they're casting somebody for the Flash. That's because it's going to be a future thing, they're not recasting for the Flash point.
No, right now Warner Brothers is actually committing one of the biggest mistakes ever. They're already talking about the Flash 2 before the first Flash has even come out. So that just goes to show you how terrible the Flash is. because that's
Well,
usually
they're
what
also
happens.
pushing this story out there that the new version, the newest cut, rated excellent. So they're pushing a narrative right now. Exactly, script. That's what I said too when I heard that. I'm like, bullshit. Like this is all just fucking fugazi for the news, basically. And then we had DS Ford, who's been a member for 8 months as a midnighter. Thank you so much. Alin Octavian Moldovan, who's been a member for 10 months, says they might make the appeal in hopes Amber works enough to actually pay the millions. P.S. I'm a member for longer. Don't know why YouTube only says 7 months. Well, on our end, it did say 10 months. It's goofy the way it works sometimes. And then we got the one from Full Metal Smile, and then Mobile Recluse was the other one who's been a member for 8 months. Thank you so much. And Cardinal Sin for 11 months. And then I think, yes, we are caught up on the member chats. Thank you so much, Mr. Tickle Trunk, who's been helping us out today because 6 is not available. So thank you for that. And then let's get back into the regular super chat. Speaking of Mr. Tickle Trunk, he says, we Canadians cashed in our Shatner karma for Justin Bieber. Yes, you did. Still, I'd like to say we're sorry for Seth Rogen, though we did give you Phil Hartman.
And Christopher Plummer. Another
God
Canadian.
damn it.
I really miss Phil Hartman.
Yeah, that bums me out. That one was one of the toughest ones ever, man. Mr. Tickle Trunk says Jim Carrey has been a bit of a watch.
Yeah, he also gave us Jim Carrey, so
he's making a comeback with Sonic right now. I think he'll go out on a high with that. And
he did great with those 2 Sonic films, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's doing all right. Paulus Plain has a part 3 from earlier. He says, Midnight's Edge, no, believe in yourself. Believe in your fans. Believe in your vision for good or ill. Holly woke. Autobots, roll out. And by the power of Grayskull, I gotta do this right. I have the power. There you go. You're welcome, sir. And next time I'll remember to do this when I do the Optimus Prime voice.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that.
well, that was good.
Yeah.
Of course, because that's Peter Cullen. Then we got DCV Titan in the house who says Nate the lawyer ran the numbers on average. Oh, he did this one. How did we get this one twice? Or did he send it twice? I hope he didn't send it twice. I think we just grabbed it twice. That might have been my fault because I went back and grabbed some I thought we missed. So just to make sure we got them all. And then we have one from Captain Fandom Nerd here who says the Sega Mega Drive 2 includes a Sega CD games. Oh, okay. And for a little extra, an adorable recreation of the Sega CD attachment. Oh, that's cool. But it only has been announced for Japan, at least for now.
That's very cool because the only problem with the Mini as it is that it doesn't have enough hard drive space for Sega CD games. And there are some games which actually are really, really good on the Sega CD, in addition to some games that you get other places as well, but where the definitive version is on the Sega CD. Like, for instance, Earthworm Jim. The definitive version of that is on the Sega CD. Same with the Mickey Mouse game. I forgot the name of it.
Isn't the better Street versions of Street Fighter on Sega CD as well?
That I don't think.
Street Fighter 2 or whatever, Turbo or whatever. Because
yeah,
isn't it a straight port of the arcade or whatever?
As close as you can, because you could never have, like back in those days, you could never have a perfect arcade port because there simply wasn't enough room for it on the cartridges. But from what I understand,
on Sega CD you could though.
Yes, actually you could.
That's what I was asking on the Sega CD version of it. That's what I meant. Yeah.
There's no Sega CD version of any Street Fighter game.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm thinking of something else then.
But the Sega CD version.
Is it Street Your Age? Maybe I'm thinking of.
That could be. That could be.
I don't know. I never had a Sega CD.
It's like Final Fight or something like that.
Maybe that's it. One of them. I know it was like because they had a couple of ports that are good on that. But no, you're right. And I'd imagine they'd bring it over here as popular as those other mini consoles were.
Course, if they've made it and it's so popular, of course, why wouldn't they? It's a matter of time. It may be Japan exclusive.
Those fuckers sold out right away, and you can't get like any of the mini Nintendos anymore for under $200-300.
Yeah, and those they underproduced. They did make enough of
the Sega. They did quite a few, yeah.
Yeah, and they made so much money on it. So of course they're going to make the version 2. Now, especially now when you can't get the version 1 anywhere. course they're going to bring out version 2. And
I heard the next
with
Nintendo thing is going to be a Game Boy,
yeah.
a mini Game Boy.
Yeah, so that was like also some comment that the hottest thing right now is like handheld replicas. Yeah, sure, bring them on. I'd take me a Game Boy replica that can play Game Boy Advance games and stuff like that. Hell,
There
yeah,
was I think it's the same company that does the mini Sega that did the one with the handheld for Sega too. That was a replica of their old one. So they've already had one of those here. But Mr. Tickletrunk sends in 2 Canadian bucks and reminds us that we also gave you Peter Cullen. That's true.
That was very important.
That is.
Yeah. You're forgiven for most things for that.
Yes. So with that, we are caught up.
Fantastic. Just as Paul returned.
Just as Paul returns. But luckily, I don't think any of the questions were for him. Blah, if I could talk. I've had a bad day talking today.
The lead actor in Mr. Ed was Canadian.
Hello, I'm Mr. Ed.
That's right.
You'd talk too if you had a carrot stuck up your butt.
Michael Millard
says we missed one of his.
Yeah,
okay, I know he sent a couple, so you'll have to go back and check. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll check that behind here.
Andre should know what movie that line is from.
But if there was another, I shall.
He's one of the only other people I know who liked Hot to Trot.
Let's see. Yeah, I love Hot to Trot. Daryl Brewwood said for $5, Yojimbo versus Last Man Standing, relatively recently.
Yojimbo.
And then Michael Millard said for $35, South African runs. In regard to Strange New Worlds, they went to Parrot Analytics to prop up numbers. Oh yeah, that I can believe. It started strong, then everyone abandoned when seeing the same thing in the new show. And Mr. Buttcrack Media sent
I see it now. The mods just sent it to me. It was an Amber Heard, a.k.a. a turd.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Buttcrack Media. Sorry we missed that.
I don't know how, but yeah.
We missed a couple today for some reason, but I think it's because we don't have 6 today, and Mikey was busy too, and I was trying to keep up with everything. It's been a busy morning for everything.
Yeah, and I was busy looking up Sega consoles.
Yeah, and you're all like, I need to buy one now. How long will it take me to get to Japan?
Well, I'll wait for the European version. But,
practicing your Japanese and shit over there, like trying to figure out how do I buy a Sega Mini CD. Anyway,
with a final comment for today, the
there you go.
Zero wonders any update with Red Sonja. No, I don't know anything about that movie. The last thing I heard was that they had the director of Solomon Kane, and of course the script would be completely rewritten and everything. So I would anticipate 6 months to rewrite the script and move into production. I wouldn't expect to hear anything
look at this.
until after summer.
Is that that's on television? Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, that's some vintage quality right there.
My original
television.
That was Mattel, wasn't it?
Yep,
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, I did not get this off eBay. That is mine.
Awesome sauce.
They need to bring wood back into the console systems again.
I agree. Wood paneling. Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
I agree with script though. Wood paneling and receivers and all that business. Shit. Even a lot of these newer TVs would look nice with a nice wooden frame.
I agree.
Yeah.
They should do that for the PlayStation 6.
Flat screen. Yeah, flat screen with a wooden frame would be brilliant because you could make it look like a picture. Like this is still
like a painting, exactly.
Yeah. The dogs
people already do that.
In a game.
There's actually I've seen built-ins in houses where they do that. Basically, they build it in like a paint frame and then a painting frame and then.
Samsung has like a TV called the Frame, but I don't think it's a wooden frame on it.
Well, with the LEDs and all that stuff nowadays, is if you got a high enough resolution picture, you can trick somebody into probably thinking it was a painting.
Yeah. Well, that's the idea.
Exactly. But yeah, so with that, I want to thank Paul for today, of course, with Script Doctor and Arn, who you can check out over at Positive Fandom. Check out Paul Chato's channel, Call Me Chato, where I'm sure you've got something new coming up, don't you, Paul?
Always.
When's my next TV guide?
Oh, I've been working on it. I've been working. What's happened is all the Star Wars stuff has
I hate that.
I think the next thing is going to be my review of today's Strange New Worlds. So that's next,
right.
and then I'm going to finish this fucker off finally.
There you go.
1973.
Yeah.
1973. So yeah, I'm working on this one, and it does include the Zenith Chromacolor 2. Works in a drawer. Whatever. There
we go. It's a Zenith.
Zenith
was great until they got bought out by LG.
Yeah, until they were bought out. Yeah.
And then I think LG sold the brand to a Chinese company.
Yep.
And now we never get any more Zenith.
Basically, there was a point where like RCA, Zenith, and a couple other off brands all had the same fucking parts in every fucking TV. They were the same basic TVs, same remotes and everything.
We should wrap this up. We're getting
bored. We are. And then you got anything coming up? I imagine you're doing something with R&B this weekend.
I think so. I'm not sure. Perhaps tonight or tomorrow night, but do check out if you guys are subscribed to the Post Geek Singularity YouTube channel, which is the channel for Robert Meyer Burnett. Do have your notifications sent out if we do decide to stream. Of course, 10:30 on Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will have my live Sunday brunch show, so please do check that out.
Yeah, Robert happened to hop in right as we all were leaving after my birthday. It was hilarious. He's like, "Hey," I'm like, "Yeah, we just wrapped everything up." He's like, "Oh, we're not live anymore." I'm like, yeah, he's like, but he wished me a happy birthday, so I want to thank Robert for that.
With the R&B show and you R-M-B?
I had not thought about that.
Oh, see,
that's interesting. All this time, I don't think anybody did make that connection.
I'm a lateral thinker.
I like that.
Yes,
that's the way I think
it has
too.
to do with initials, mostly.
I know. It's
this
just
is true.
I think differently. That's for sure.
Enrique Vasquez says, "Script. Have you seen Stranger Things season 4? If so, what are your thoughts? Quickly, if you have."
I haven't followed up on Stranger Things since season 2.
See, same thing here. I haven't watched season 2 and beyond.
I started it, and so far I'm loving Stranger Things.
People are loving it. Yeah.
I'm restarting Grimm. I'm watching all these Grimms again. I love that show.
I saw the first season of that. That wasn't bad.
And then Mecha J says, "Rip Dave Smith, the engineer genius behind the synthesizer machines used in a lot of music from the 80s. Oh, really? I did not know that. Oh, man.
Okay.
That's too bad.
I'm a huge synth fan. I've never heard of Dave Smith.
Neither have I, but I'm sure all the geeky nerd channels that do all the old tech stuff are going to have a lot of stuff. I'll learn enough about it in the next few weeks.
And I'm a synth fan too. I love synths.
Wow. Today we're going to have the original Oberheim 6. I'm going to show you the wave patterns.
You'd be surprised how many of those I actually watch. In fact, I think I've seen some of your videos back in the day without realizing it too. The Hackintosh stuff. Hyper Guyver sends in some koalas, and that, of course, signifies what, Andre?
That it's time to say thanks for joining us, and it's time for some marsupials in the rain.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given. Koala, koala, koalas in the rain.